Chapter 4487. The strongest person in the mountain pavilion Lu Yifan, and the strongest person in the Lin clan Lin Yu, after jointly performing the time-space escape method, completely ignored the interference of the Changtian sword Situ lay on the surrounding space, and escaped thousands of miles away. During this process, they could also be sure that Situ Lei would never be able to lock in which direction they went. That Situ Lei, who is just entering the third tier, really wants to fight you, and I may not be afraid of him. But after all, today's matter, after all, is not on the table, and it is not appropriate to reveal his identity. Otherwise, there will be people who bully the younger generation. Suspect. Lu Yifan said angrily. However, Lin Yu nodded non-committally. He knew that Lu Yifan was trying to save face and suffer, and was looking for a step for himself to make himself feel more comfortable. How could he not know the real reason for not revealing his identity? It is nothing more than worrying that the other party will spread this matter out, causing the genius high-ranking who is suspected to have come out of the semi-sacred power to stare at the two of them. After all, neither of them wanted the other to know their identities. Otherwise, even if you really get the thing, the other party will know their identities when you look back, not to mention the fifth-order powerhouses such as the Bansheng or the fourth-order powerhouses close to the half-sacred, and only one person is needed. Enough to easily destroy the forces behind them. If the two of them happen not to be together, and there is no way to escape by means of time and space, I am afraid that they will also be buried with the forces behind them. You and I join hands to cast the time and space escape method, and the semi-sacred powerhouse will not be able to leave us. Lin Yu said lightly between words. He was very confident about their joint means of escape. However, it's a pity. Previously, you spent so much time looking back in time, but you were looking back at an irrelevant person. It was a waste of time, energy, and divine power. Lu Yifan said with a sigh, "That can't be helped." Lin Yu shook his head and was a little helpless. Although there were some sources, it was not easy to find the genius and high-ranking who was carrying a lot of treasures. As I said, we just need to focus on the active superpowers around. When that time comes, when we see which superpowers take action on that little guy, we will have another Oriole behind. Lu Yifan's eyes shone brightly and said, "With the time-space escape method that you and I have jointly used, as long as you don't reveal your identity, you won't be a half-sacred person in the territory of Pingxiong, so you don't need to have any concerns at all. Time and space escape is also Lu Yifan and Lin, yes, greatest resource. That's what I said. But the most important thing at the moment is to find out the whereabouts of that genius and high-ranking god." Lin Yu said. An artifact spaceship rose from the vast land and headed towards the Thunder Holy Land all the way. The speed of this divine artifact spaceship is not comparable to any divine artifact spaceship that Duan Lingtian had previously sat on, because this divine artifact spaceship belonged to Qingtian sword Situ Lei. This artifact spaceship, usually in his spare time, uses the supernatural power to conceive, although it cannot be regarded as a complete super-strong artifact. But it can also be said to be half a super-strong artifact. Moreover, it was Stuart Lei who let the tree of life in the small world in his body control the current artifact spaceship, and because of this he didn't need to spend any effort to control the spaceship. In addition, this kind of artifact spacecraft, generally no one dares to intercept it. Ordinary people do not have that speed to intercept. The speed of this artifact spaceship is so fast now that if it is not the superior who is good at the law, even if the strength is close to the invincible superior god, it will be difficult to catch up. As it rushes through the void, it announces to its surroundings, "This artifact spaceship is a means of transportation for the strongest." It is precisely because of this that although the large area bordering Pingxingjing and Leishingjing has been raided by some superpowers from time to time, they have not been eyeing the artifact spaceship that Duan Lingtian is currently sitting on. And these people actually came to Duan Lingtian, intending to seize the Beaming Hand Fish King and the Bliss Flower King in his hands. It seems that something has happened in this area recently. There are so many supreme powers active. At first, Situ Lei didn't feel anything, but later, when he heard the reminder of the tree of life in the small world inside his body, he found something abnormal again. When things go wrong, there must be demons. If there is an abnormality, Situ Lei will naturally not ignore it easily. What if it is an opportunity that is also useful to him to make the superpower take such a long time? So, in order to know the reason, Situ Lei went out to inquire. In the end, he also vaguely learned the ins and outs of the matter. With Situ Lei's third-order strength, those with weaker strengths are still relatively face-saving, and told him the matter. It is suspected that there is a semi-sacred powerhouse as a young powerhouse backing the mountain, knocking on the bamboo poles of the Tailingzhong clan and the Bingdilun clan, and getting 3 Beiminghan Fish Kings and 9 Bliss Flower Kings? Even Situ Lei was shocked by the other party's harvest. If it wasn't for him being a loose cultivator and there are no juniors and descendants, he has no worries. Otherwise, he will be tempted by these things. These temptations are of no direct use to the strongest themselves. If it is useful, it is nothing more than using it to exchange some rare treasures that are directly useful to oneself with other supreme powers. Someone is being targeted by those superpowers. Situ Lei, who came back from inquiring about the news, didn't hide anything from Duan Lingtian and told Duan Lingtian what he had inquired. 3 North Netherfrost Fish Kings, 9 Bliss Flower Kings. It's no wonder they spend so much time. However, those things are not so easy to capture. After speaking, Situ Lei shook his head. Duan Lingtian heard the words, and his eyes flashed. So, the 2 people who stopped me last time should also be the most powerful people who have their eyes on that person? The reason why you don't dare to reveal your identity is because you are worried about your identity being exposed, being targeted by the other party, or even revenge. After all, it is very likely that there is a semi-sacred powerhouse behind the opponent. Hearing Duan Lingshan's words, Situ Lei nodded. If you don't tell me, I will forget about it. It should be right. They should regard you as that genius. Situ Lei laughed. Situ Lei, from the beginning to the end, did not think about Duan Lingtian to that genius powerhouse. Just because, according to the information he inquired, that genius powerhouse has the strength to be infinitely close to the invincible superior god, not weaker than the Tianmen Linghu family. Linghu Yundi, Tianmen Linghu family. Linghu Yundi is the first person under the generally recognized invincible superior in the territory of Pingxiong. What is this concept? In the territory of Pingxiong, she is the strongest existence if the Xian does not exist, and the invincible superior does not exist. Senior is also interested in those things. If Senior is interested, there is no need to send me. I can just continue on my way. Duan Lingtian tentatively asked Situ Lei. But Situ Lei shook his head when he heard the words. Those things don't have any direct effect on me as a lonely person, and I can only exchange other things with others when I get them, and it's easy to be targeted by others, and the risk is huge. Risk-benefit trade-off. I don't want to be in this muddy water. Situ Lei expressed his attitude. When Duan Lingtian heard the words, although he didn't say anything on the surface, he was still slightly relieved. In particular, Tan Xiuting on the side was shocked into a cold sweat. On the next road, Situ Lei continued to discuss kendo with Duan Lingtian, and Duan Lingtian did not hide his secrets, and did his best to share some of his insights. It wasn't until Situ Lei's artifact spaceship entered the Thunder Holy Land and arrived at the nearest Thunder Holy Land Holy City, called Tourmaline Holy City, that the discussion stopped. Li Feng Xiaoyu. At the time of parting, Situ Lei sighed. Lingyun essence and blood. I don't have it in my hands for the time being. I can give you a few jade slips, but am afraid I can only deter some newcomers. In the end, Duan Lingtian couldn't evade, and took 3 deity projection jade slips from Situ Lei, and he could call out Situ Lei's deity projection each time. However, the strength of the deity's projection is far inferior to the real deity. At most, it is only close to the strength of the invincible upper deity, and there is no follow-up power. The stronger upper deity can consume it and wipe it out. The biggest use of the deity projection is deterrence. However, if you encounter a superpower who deliberately concealed his identity like last time, such a deity projection jade slip is useless, because the other party is not afraid at all. Li Feng Xiaoyu, after you enter the Tourmaline Holy City. Before leaving, Situ Lei also briefly reminded Duan Lingtian of some things, so that Duan Lingtian would not take too many detours after entering the Thunder Holy Land. As for the details, he didn't say much because many things personal contact is far more useful than his explanation. After about a quarter of an hour, Situ Lei left. Senior Situ Lei is a straightforward person. After Situ Lei left, Duan Lingtian couldn't help sighing with emotion. Hearing this, Tan Xiuting nodded in agreement. Senior Situ Lei, among the strongest Xians in the Tiansha realm, has the best reputation. I have never heard anyone speak ill of him. Those who mention him almost all praise him. You said, if he knew that I was the one the strongest were looking for, would he shoot at me? Duan Lingshan's eyes flashed, and he asked Tan Xiuting. Hearing this, Tan Xiuting was stunned at first, then smiled bitterly. It stands to reason that it shouldn't be. However, even if it is possible, it is best not to try it. Once you gamble wrong, you will be like a nest egg. Tan Xiuting said, humanity is the hardest thing to figure out. Situ Lei's reputation is really good, but who knows if it's just an appearance. It's just because Situ Lei has wiped out those who know his bad side, so no one knows he's bad at all? Yeah. That's why I didn't tell him the truth. This kind of gamble is too risky. Duan Lingtian nodded, then turned to look at the holy city of Thunder Holy Land in front of him. Let's stay in this holy city of Tourmaline for the next period of time. End of this chapter. Chapter 4488. Chapter 4488, The Sage Power Bibo, Tianfu, Tourmaline, Holy City. It is one of the many holy cities in Leisheng, controlled by a sage force named Bibo Tianfu, and under the Bibo Tianfu, there are 5 holy cities. Tourmaline Holy City is only one of the 5 holy cities under the command of Bibo Tianfu. In the 5 holy cities, there are also many forces stationed in it, which is also the default of Bibo Tianfu. Some of these forces surrender to Bibo Tianfu, and some forces have no relationship with Bibo Tianfu, only cooperative relations. The latter forces are basically semi-holy forces. Only the semi-holy forces can let Bibo Tianfu put down the air and cooperate with it. After all, although there are saints in Bibo Tianfu, there are only one saint. Under the saints, there are only a few semi-sages. Master this Tourmaline Holy City. After finding an inn in the Tourmaline Holy City, in the courtyard of the guest room, Tan Xiuting, who had also been to the Thunder Holy Land in the past, also began to tell Duan Lingtian everything he knew about the Tourmaline Holy City. For example, in the Tourmaline Holy City, there are 3 major semi-holy forces. For example, the inn where they live now is the inn under the command of the Duan clan among the 3 major semi-holy forces. Tan Xiuting also understands this because he has stayed here in the past. If you don't already know that you are from the 10,000 realms, you are not a native of the outside world. Otherwise, I am afraid that I have to doubt whether you are from the Duan clan in this Tourmaline Holy City. Tan Xiuting said, Duan Lingshan's identity can be concealed after he arrives outside the world, so not many people know his true identity. Tan Xiuting, who once made a blood oath in the sky, is one of the few people who know his true identity. In fact, Duan Lingtian couldn't help being a little surprised when he learned that the inn where he was now, and that the semi-sacred forces behind him were actually the Duan clan. This is too coincidental, right? In the past, it was not that he had never encountered a family or clan with the surname Duan, but they were basically of moderate strength, and the Duan clan in this Tourmaline Holy City was a powerful semi-holy power. This is definitely the most powerful Duan clan force that Duan Lingtian has come into contact with so far. As for the rest, I don't know very well. After all, my strength, placed in this tourmaline holy city, is only a trivial figure, and the information that can be known is also the information that anyone can inquire about. Tan Xiuting said everything he knew in one breath, and Duan Lingtian nodded, but now he has another consideration in his heart. On the top of this tourmaline holy city is a huge sage power Bibo Tianfu, and within that Bibo Tianfu there are strong saints sitting in town. The so-called sage is actually a strong person in the realm of the world. It is said that there are only a few dozen top people in the world, and even beyond the world. If the sage makes a move and wants to resolve the imprisoned soul of the soul-bound clan on Kir's body, there should be great hope. The strength of the sage is much stronger than that of the average superpower. If it was a semi-holy, Duan Lingtian would not dare to say it. However, the saint, although it is said to be the strongest, is said to have undergone a preliminary qualitative change in power, and it can be said to be in existence above the strongest. For such an existence, it is not an exaggeration to say that the realm is beyond the strongest. In this way, Yun Qinyan, who is integrated with the supreme powerhouse Soul Clan, imprisoned the soul of Kir. The Saint Powerhouse may not be able to directly erase it. After all, the confinement of the souls of the people of the God Emperor's Soul Clan, God Venerable, can easily erase them. The confinement of the souls of the people of the divine, respected Soul Clan can be easily wiped out by the strongest. Even the weakest can do it. That is the gap between the cultivation base and the realm, and it is the leap of qualitative change. If I can let the sages of Bibo Tianfu take action, Kir will be saved. Thinking of this, Duan Lingtian's heart burst into flames. But soon, he couldn't help but feel helpless and lost in his heart. It's easier said than done if you want to let the saints and strong men take action. If he is an invincible, high-ranking god, running for the sage strong man, to get some benefits of returning to the secret realm of the ruins, the other party may be willing to take a shot for him. But he is not an invincible upper god. Although the current strength is very close to the invincible upper god Venerable, it is either or not. Even the weakest invincible upper god Venerable can easily defeat the current Duan Lingtian. If you want to seek a breakthrough in the power of law, it is difficult to climb to the sky. Kendo is not easy. Duan Lingtian is very clear in his heart that his current strength has reached a bottleneck, and he still has a long way to go if he wants to go further and become an invincible, high-ranking god. And his wife Kir might not be able to last that long. And why? I haven't felt any signs of becoming a superpower until now. Ordinary people who understand the four ways of heaven and earth to a certain extent are not even as good as me now, and can't sense the superpower realm. Call. At this time, as long as you respond, you can directly become Xian. If you refuse to respond, it is equivalent to giving up the road to becoming Xian. In the future, only after you have achieved the invincible high God Venerable, will you have the opportunity to attack Xian again. Territory. This is also the rule of heaven and earth. In the Xian realm, people who meet the requirements are only called once. If you cherish this opportunity, I will let you step into. If it is not rare, it will give an incomparable test. Achieve the invincible superior God, and then seek the path of supreme power from the invincible superior God. Or join one of the semi-sacred forces in the tourmaline holy city first. Find a way to get the semi-sacred to try. But half-sage, it's very likely that it can't be done. Thinking of this, Duan Lingtian couldn't help but have some headaches. He wanted to do it, but he was worried that he had put in the effort and wasted time. In the end, the half-sage was powerless. It's nothing to waste his time and efforts. I'm afraid that Kir's time is wasted. It doesn't matter. Now I have no other choice. Even if there is little hope, I still have to try. Otherwise, it's a waste of Kir's time to sit and wait. Thinking of this, Duan Lingtian's eyes gradually became firmer. The tourmaline holy city, the Duan clan. It is also a destiny to be able to come here. I will first find a way to join it, and then seek the opportunity of the Duan family's semi-holy summons. As long as there is a chance, I will ask the half-sage to go to the anti-god realm and let him try it to see if he can release the imprisoned soul on cure. Thinking of this, Duan Lingtian looked at Tan Xiuting and said in a deep voice, I plan to join the Duan clan and become a worshipper. What do you think is the right way for me to wait for the opportunity to join? Tan Xiuting, although his strength is not as good as him, he has lived longer than him after all. He has spent a long time in the outside world, and many things can provide him with advice and inspiration. End of this chapter. Chapter 4489. Hearing Duan Lingtian's words, Tan Xiuting was stunned at first, surprised by his young master's thought, but soon recovered, shook his head, and smiled. Master, this is a trivial matter. Although the Duan clan is a semi-sacred force, the strongest among them may not be as powerful as you. If you are willing to join the Duan clan, it is a great deal for the Duan clan. Good thing. And with your strength, it is absolutely impossible for you to be the opponent of the Duan clan or a lurker sent by other strengths to plant in the Duan clan, even if it is a semi-sacred force. It is impossible to let a person of strength like you be willing to enter the hostile forces to lurk. So, as long as you show your strength, Master, the Duan clan will definitely welcome you to join, Master. Tan Xiuting said very confidently, although his strength is average. He is very clear about these principles. The young master of his family, although not yet the invincible high-ranking god, is definitely a group of people who are the closest to the invincible high-ranking in a place outside the world, and even in all realms. Previously, the young master of his family took action against the existences of those who were close to the invincible, superior gods. Although he was in the magical space, he could see it clearly. The strength of his young master is probably not weaker than Ling Huyundi, who is recognized as the first person under the invincible superior in Pingxiong territory. There are not many such characters, even in the holy realm outside the world like Thunder Holy Land. Although they are not unique, there will definitely not be too many. At least, among the semi-sacred forces in the Thunder Holy Land, there are absolutely a handful of such existences. Even if there are, most of them are in the power of saints. After Tan Xiaotang's remarks, Duan Lingtian's confusion suddenly became clear. On second thought, this is indeed the truth. He just broke through not long ago, and he has only experienced one battle after breaking through. But he has not yet deeply realized that he is now strength. What does it mean? With my current strength, even if my identity is exposed, even if I know that I have a heavy treasure in my hand, and relying on the semi-sacred power, I may not have the power to protect myself. And my biggest trump card is not the strength I have now. Long live less than. This is my greatest advantage. Now, after being reminded by Tan Xiaotang's words, Duan Lingtian suddenly realized the value of joining a semi-holy force. Tomorrow, I will go to the residence of the Duan family and join it. Duan Lingtian made a decision in a deep voice. Master. Tan Xiuting shook his head and smiled. Actually, it doesn't need to be that troublesome. Although the residence of the Duan clan is not in the Tourmaline Holy City, it is in the Tourmaline Holy City, but there is a stronghold for recruiting talents. You just need to go there. With your strength, young master, if you intend to join the Duan clan, I am afraid that the Duan clan will send more than one elder-level person to welcome you over there. Tan Xiaotang's words brightened Duan Lingtian's eyes. If that's the case, then I will go to the stronghold of the Duan family in the Tourmaline Holy City tomorrow. Thinking of tomorrow, you will be able to join the Duan clan, become the worship of the Duan clan, and even hope to ask the semi-sage of the Duan clan to take action to save Kir. Duan Lingtian couldn't help but feel excited. Although in the past Qingtian's sword Situ Lei told him, I am afraid that only the existence of Jezwenjing, that is, the existence of saints and above, can expel the imprisoned souls of the most powerful soul clan for his wife Kir. However, Duan Lingtian still had a glimmer of hope in his heart. Perhaps a semi-holy, close to a saint, can do the same? After all, the strength of the Soul clan people who are the same as Yun Qingyan has definitely not recovered to its heyday. With the soul imprisonment in his weak state at that time, it may not be as good as the soul imprisonment under the control of the normal supreme power Soul clan people. In Duan Lingshan's heart, there was too much luck. What if? What if it was really useful? If he didn't try it, Duan Lingtian would not be reconciled. The Duan clan, as one of the 3 semi-sacred forces in the Tourmaline Holy City, is not located in the Tourmaline Holy City, but it is not far away. It is common for a lower ranking to travel between the Tourmaline Holy City and the Duan clan. It takes a quarter of an hour at most. Time. If it is the middle race and the upper gods, it will be faster. If it is the strongest, it only takes a few breaths to span this short distance. Today's Duan clan has a special guest. The reason why this guest is special is because he is not an ordinary guest that the Duan clan usually receives. He comes from the power of saints, Bibo, Tianfu. Duanbing welcomed the envoy. Although the messenger who came from Bibo Tianfu this time was not a superpower, the Duan family did not dare to show any slights. Greeted with hands and gave a very high courtesy. Duanbing, the patriarch of the Duan clan, is a middle-aged man who looks gentle, but his eyes are firm and dignified. After a long look, he can perceive a bit of sternness and majesty. Patriarch Duan. The visitor from Bibo Tianfu was an elderly man. Seeing the Duan clan's patriarch treated him so politely, he also smiled. I came this time under the order from above. Our Bibo Tianfu has recently discovered a new return market. According to some clues, there are several treasures in it, which are the treasures that our Bibo Tianfu has been collecting for many years. So, this time, our Bibo Tianfu intends to unite most of you, holy forces, jointly explore the return to the ruins. As the old man's voice fell, Duanbing's eyes couldn't help but light up. He guessed right away that the entrance to the ruins should meet some specific conditions. Otherwise, it would be impossible for them to get a share of the semi-holy forces from Bibo Tianfu. This kind of thing has never happened before. Normally, there are no restrictions on returning to the market, and Bibo Tianfu is basically not open to the outside world. They are all responsible for exploring and collecting all kinds of treasure opportunities inside. As in the past, if your people find what we need in Bibo Tianfu, our Bibo Tianfu will exchange other treasures, so you won't suffer any losses. As for other things, if your people find them, they will belong to you. The old man continued. Envoy, Duanbing asked bluntly, I don't know what conditions must be met for those who enter the market this time. In the past, in the return market shared by Bibo Tianfu, there were those who needed to meet the conditions for cultivation, those that could not surpass the realm of cultivation, and those that needed to meet the 4 conditions of heaven and earth, as well as those who met the age group. Enter. There are various conditions, and he can't guess what conditions need to be met this time. For those who are not the strongest, master kendo and reach the 4th level of kendo. And the old man, under the question of Duanbing, the patriarch of the Duan clan, did not sell too much and responded bluntly to his words. As the old man's voice fell, Duanbing took a deep breath. Not the strongest? 4th rank of kendo? Isn't the way of other weapons okay? Duanbing asked one more question. No, the old man shook his head. It must be the way of kendo. The way of other weapons will not work. This time what we at Bibo Tianfu means is that you can also search for people who meet these conditions and ask them to help you. On our side of Bibo Tianfu, this time we also have an extra gift for the forces that can help us find the most treasures we need, which will be presented by the saint of our Bibo Tianfu in person. Holy! While Duanbing trembled in his heart, he couldn't help but take a deep breath. He naturally knew that the holy venerable in the mouth in front of him was the sage of Bibo Tianfu, one of the several overlords of the Thunder Holy Land. The land of Return to the Ruins will be opened in 10 years. You have the time to collect such characters. Before the land of Return to the Ruins is opened, we, Bibo Tianfu, will send someone to pick up the people you arrange to go to the entrance of the land of Return to the Ruins and enter the land of Return to the Ruins. End of this chapter. Chapter 4490. It was not until the envoy of Bibo Tianfu left that Duan Bing, the patriarch of the Duan clan in the Tourmaline Holy City, gradually recovered. Non-powerful, master the 4th rank of Kendo? Duan Bing only frowned. High-ranking gods, generally mastering some kind of heaven and earth to the 4th order level, they can almost feel the call of the realm of the strongest, and as long as they respond to the call, they can directly become the strongest. As for the general high-ranking gods, at this stage, there's a layer of window paper away from the most powerful person. Few people will choose not to pierce the window paper to become the strong one. The vast majority of people will never give up the opportunity to become the strongest. Because of this, it is difficult to find a high-ranking who has mastered the 4th rank of the world, let alone the 4th rank of Kendo. Generally, the upper gods who have mastered the 4th order of the 4 worlds and the 4 worlds have achieved greatness by virtue of the 4 worlds. The rest either did not feel the call of the supreme realm or decided to attack the invincible upper god, and generally the latter is far less than the former, because the invincible upper is too ethereal, looking at the world and beyond the world. The total number is not even as much as 10% of the total number of the strongest. In our Duan clan, there are 2 people who have mastered the 4th order heaven and earth, and they are not the strongest. However, the 4 worlds they master are not swordsmanship, although it's all the way of weapons, but it doesn't meet the conditions for entering that place of return to the ruins. The Duan clan's contemporary non-powerful, 2 people who have comprehended the 4 ways of heaven and earth to the 4th rank, mastered the spear way and knife way. Both of them are in the Duan clan, close to the invincible upper gods the presence, and the strongest among them. They are the mainstay of the Duan family. It seems that we can only seek foreign aid outside for the next 10 years. Duan Bing secretly said. At noon the next day, Duan Lingtan left the inn with Tan Xiuting, ate at a nearby restaurant, and after listening to the conversations of some drinkers, he found out where the Duan family's recruitment stronghold in the Tourmaline Holy City is located. The Duan clan, as one of the 3 semi-sacred forces in the Tourmaline Holy City, even if it is just a stronghold for recruiting talents, it occupies a very large area, just like a family residence. In fact, the non-semi-saint family forces in the Tourmaline Holy City, the family resident in the Tourmaline Holy City, are at most as large as this. Your Excellency, are you looking for someone? At the gate, one of the guards at the gate looked at Duan Lingtian, who was headed by him, and asked politely. After all, they are members of a big family, such as the Duan family. I know that many people seem to be ordinary, but in fact have a strong background and cannot be provoked, so they are a little polite when they meet. In doing so, you can ensure that you will not inadvertently offend anyone. No. Duan Lingtan shook his head, looked at the person in front of him, and said with a slight smile, I heard that the Duan family stronghold in the Tourmaline Holy City is to recruit talents. I came here to join the Duan family. Hearing Duan Lingshan's intention to come, the people of the Duan clan at the gate suddenly became a lot more polite. So you are here for this? Your Excellency, please come in, and I will take you to the assessment site set up by our Duan clan for worship. As long as you can pass the assessment, you can join our Duan clan. Although the person in front of him looked young, he did not dare to underestimate it. Who knows if this young skin is an old antique that has lived for tens of thousands of years? Under the leadership of the other party, Duan Lingtian took Tan Xiuting into the stronghold of the Duan family in the Tourmaline Holy City. After entering the door, you can see the layout inside. It is like a small family residence with many rockeries and lush greenery. The corridors along the way are also antique, full of low-key luxury. Seemingly seeing Duan Lingshin's surprise, the members of the Duan clan who led the way in front of them smiled slightly and said, "This stronghold of our Duan clan used to be the clan residence of a big family. After that clan was wiped out, this place was idle for a while and was finally asked by our patriarch to serve as a stronghold." The people of the Duan clan put it lightly, but Duan Lingtian knew that such a good place must have many people's eyes, and the Duan clan's ability to win it is enough to show its strong strength and deterrence. "Your mightiness." Suddenly, the people of the Duan clan slowed down a bit. The person in charge of the stronghold of our Duan clan is an elder of the law enforcement hall of our Duan clan, and he has a bad temper. You met him, but don't be polite. He is the most powerful person who doesn't know how high the sky is. He is a Xian. Under normal circumstances, he would not take the initiative to remind people who want to join the Duan clan. The reason why he took the initiative to remind him was that he felt that the other party seemed easygoing and unassuming, and not to mention the specific strength. Just this easygoing, it was worth reminding him a thing or two. "Thank you for reminding." Duan Lingtian repeatedly thanked him. "My name is Duan Shao. What is your name?" asked the guide. "Duan Lingtian." And Duan Lingtian didn't hide his identity this time. With his current strength, if he joins the Duan clan, even if all the treasures in his hands are exposed, there will be very few people who dare to attack him. Unless the Duan clan attacked him. However, this is unlikely. After all, even if the Duan clan is tough, he has a self-destruction ring. As long as he is not willing, he would rather die. No one can get those treasures in his hands. Moreover, the Duan clan is a semi-sacred force after all, and it is definitely impossible to worship the difficult clan because of that little treasure, and it is also a worshipping close to the invincible, superior god. Through Tan Xiatang's mouth, Duan Lingtian has realized that if he joins the Duan clan, he will be greatly respected and valued. Now, Duan Lingtian not only did not hide his real name, but even his face was restored to its original state, no longer covering up in the slightest, and completely showing his true face. Hiding in the past was entirely because of lack of strength. And now there is no need to do that. Your surname is also Duan. Duan Shao was stunned for a moment, then laughed. "It seems that your excellency has a fate with our Duan clan. Or is it because your surname is Duan that you chose our Duan clan?" "There's a reason for that." Duan Lingtian nodded. In fact, this did account for a large part of the reason. Under the leadership of Duan Shao, Duan Lingtian and Tan Xiaoting came to the backyard, and after Duan Shao said hello, Duan Lingtian and Tan Xiaoting followed another person and walked into a vast mansion in the backyard. "Brother Lingtian, I hope to see you in the clan in the future." Before parting, Duan Shao said to Duan Lingtian with a smile, "Although he guards the gate at the Duan family stronghold in the Tourmaline Holy City, his own strength is not bad. He is also a high-ranking god. In the Duan family, the weaker worshippers are not much stronger than him. Therefore, in the face of a character who may become a new worship, he does not feel that there is any identity gap between himself and the other party. Must." Duan Lingtian also responded through voice transmission, and he also had a good impression of this enthusiastic disciple of the Duan clan. The person who took over and led the way in the back seemed a lot indifferent, without any unnecessary nonsense, and took Duan Lingtian and Tan Xiaoting directly into the mansion in front of him. Inside the Fuzhong mansion, in the spacious courtyard, an old man who was over a decade old was sitting at a stone table, drinking tea. "Elder, someone brought it." The person leading the way said respectfully to the old man. As for the old man, as early as the moment Duan Lingtian stepped into the stronghold, he actually passed Duan Shao's communication and knew that such a person was going to participate in the Duan clan's recruitment assessment. At this point, it didn't seem surprising. The old man stood up, his body that seemed a little thin, but at this moment, it gave people a sense of strength, as if there were thousands of majestic momentum swept out of him. That is, in this moment, Duan Lingtian can confirm that the other party is a supreme power, The strong momentum swept in. Tan Xiatang's complexion changed greatly, his body trembled slightly, and the corners of his mouth bleed. On the other hand, Duan Lingtian stood there as if nothing had happened, as if he had not been affected in any way. Even as a fierce aura rose from his body, Tan Xiatang's complexion also recovered a lot. Obviously the pressure was caused by Duan Lingtian resolved. What a powerful swordsmanship! The old man at this time also put away his aura, staring at Duan Lingtian with shining eyes. His heart trembled. What's the situation? Yesterday, I just received a message from the Patriarch, asking him to help collect non-Xians who have mastered the 4th rank of Kendo. Today, I took the initiative to send one to my door. His swordsmanship is definitely above the 4th rank. As for the specific order, we will have to let him try it before we know. End of this chapter. Chapter 4491. Don't resist. Follow me into my artifact space. In the Tourmaline Holy City, within the Duan clan's recruitment stronghold, the person in charge of the stronghold is also the elder of the Duan clan's law enforcement hall. Before he spoke loudly, he also took out a space artifact. Then, he took Duan Lingtian into the artifact space. During this process, Duan Lingtian had no intention of resisting, nor did he intend to resist. Don't say it's just the artifact space, he can come out at any time. It is the small world inside the opponent's body, and he is not afraid to enter. After all, with the strength of the opponent's supreme power, if you really want to be detrimental to him, you don't need to be so troublesome at all. You can obliterate him face to face. Outside, seeing that his young master disappeared in front of the Duan clan elders, leaving a gourd-shaped artifact alone on the table not far away, Tan Xiaoting waited calmly. It is not difficult for him to guess the next result. The Duan clan will be very happy to accept his young master as the offering of the Duan clan. After all, although the Duan clan has the existence of an invincible superior god, but the Duan clan may not have the strength like his young master. Within the artifact space, the elders of the Duan clan did not say a word and shot directly at Duan Lingtian. A majestic force swept out and rushed towards Duan Lingtian like 1,000 troops. You do your best to resist my offensive and let me see your true strength. Just from the test outside, he had already seen that the young man in purple clothed in front of him had the strength close to the invincible upper god, but at what level he was not sure. After all, the existences that are close to the invincible upper gods are also divided into 3, 6, and 9. As for Duan Lingtian, when he heard the other party's words, he didn't hold back any longer. As soon as he made a move, it was full force. The space law of the small perfection realm was displayed, and the divine power was turbulent. With the swordsmanship of the full force shot, it broke the opponent's offensive like a destructive force. Even completely suppressed the opponent's offensive. Of course, the reason why this step can be achieved is entirely because the other party is far from doing his best. As early as when the opponent shot, Duan Lingtian saw that the opponent controlled the power of his shot to a level that was comparable to the existence of an invincible superior god. This level of strength is far inferior to him. This kind of existence that is close to the invincible upper god, in his hands, he can't even make 10 moves. If there is no special means of escape, he is sure to kill it. Call out. Duan Lingtian's power converged into a sword beam and swept out. His mighty power made the Duan clan elders look horrified, and the depths of their eyes were filled with disbelief. Obviously, he never imagined that the youth in purple clothes in front of him had such a powerful strength. This strength, I am afraid that it can be compared with the top figures under the Bibo, Qianfu Xinqiang, an invincible, superior god Venerable. He was shocked. In their Duan clan, there have been such powerful figures in history, but not many. Only a few people have appeared in the history of millions of years. In modern times, there has never been such a genius. And now, such a genius is standing in front of him, and he is conducting the assessment of their Duan clan, recruiting talents. His swordsmanship has reached the 6th level. Moreover, it is definitely the 6th order peak. At the same time, in addition to being shocked by the strength of the opponent, the elders of this clan were also very horrified by Duan Lingshan's swordsmanship. The 6th stage of Kendo. It is all the worlds and the 4 realms of the 6th stage. Looking at the places beyond the realm, and even the 10,000 realms, as far as he knows, there are not more than 100 people in the land outside the world. And even in the contemporary world under the strongest, he has not heard that anyone has mastered the 4 realms of heaven and earth and has reached the 6th stage, the 6th stage of Kendo. Looking at the contemporary era, including the most powerful, there are probably no more than 5 people who have mastered it. At least, I haven't heard of any existence under the saint who mastered it. The 6th stage of Kendo. Saints, without exception, all have the cultivation of the strongest and have mastered a certain law to the realm of great perfection. If there are no other special means, at least one of the 4 ways of heaven and earth has been mastered to the 6th stage. And these thoughts of the elders of the Duan clan actually happened in a flash. When he noticed that Duan Lingshan's offensive had suppressed his own offensive, and when the pavement hit, the power in his body suddenly swept over his body without reservation, easily blocking Duan Lingshan's offensive. Although Duan Lingshan's offensive was strong, it fell on the elders of the Duan clan without causing any waves, as if it were completely insignificant. At the same time, the elders of the Duan clan also completely recovered. When he looked at Duan Lingtian again, his originally stiff and serious face revealed a smile that was uglier than crying. "Little brother, I am the 2nd elder of the Duan Family Law Enforcement Hall, Duan Tianhong, but I don't know what you call it." It was also because there were no other members of the Duan clan at the scene. Otherwise, seeing this dignified appearance of Tianhong, he would definitely be shocked to drop his jaw, because Duan Tianhong, who is usually in front of the Duan clan's patriarch, rarely does this, let alone in front of other people. Among the Duan clan, I am afraid that only the semi-sage ancestor appeared. It is possible to make Duan Tianhong so enthusiastic. Duan Lingtian, I have seen Elder Tianhong. As for Duan Lingtian, he was not surprised by the sudden change in Duan Tianhong's attitude, because in his opinion it was expected. His current strength, let alone the semi-sacred power, is the power of the saints, and he will also receive a lot of attention and even attention. "Your surname is Duan too?" Immediately, the smile on Duan Tianhong's face became brighter. Of course, in Duan Lingshan's eyes it was even more ugly. "Then you really have a fate with our Duan clan. With your strength, it is more than enough to join our Duan clan as an offering. If it becomes a big worship directly, no one will have a second opinion." Before Duan Lingtian came, he had also heard about the big offering of the Duan clan. It was the most powerful being in the offering, and it was an honor that could only be obtained. As for the strongest people entering the Duan clan, they do not become worshippers, but become protectors. Only outsiders under Xian who enter the Duan clan are enshrined. "Go. It'll take you back to our Duan clan to see the patriarch." Duan Tianhong seemed a little impatient, as if he was afraid that Duan Lingtian would suddenly regret it and did not intend to join their Duan clan again. "Then I will trouble Elder Tianhong." Duan Lingtian continued speaking. "No trouble, just a small matter." Duan Tianhong waved his hand. "Let's not mention your surname Duan. You are related to our Duan clan. If you say that your name contains the word, then it is also related to me, Duan Tianhong. Since we are so predestined, we don't need to do it again. Such a courtesy. If you don't dislike it, you can just call me brother in private." Although he is not sure of the specific age of the person in front of him, he can still faintly perceive that the other party is definitely not old. It should not exceed 30,000 years old. Moreover, the people who can reach this stage are basically geniuses, and there are very few underachievers who are over 30,000 years old. The person outside, since he is by your side, come with us to see the patriarch. After leaving the artifact space, Duan Tianhong, who didn't even look at Tan Xiuting in the first place, also rarely nodded and smiled at Tan Xiuting. Although it was only a short smile, it still made the person who brought Duan Lingtian and the two here look horrified. Who can tell him what's going on? Elder Duan Tianhong, who has always had a coffin face, turned out to be laughed. End of this chapter. Chapter 4492. Duan Lingtian took Tan Xiuting, followed behind Duan Tianhong, and went to the Duan family's residence outside the Tourmaline Holy City. Along the way, Duan Tianhong enthusiastically introduced the Tourmaline Holy City to Duan Lingtian, as well as the various industries of the Duan family in the Tourmaline Holy City, and bluntly said that after Duan Lingtian became the enshrined of the Duan family, after the Duan family's industry consumption in the Tourmaline Holy City, there will be huge discounts just by showing the identity token. At the same time, he also speculated on the origin of Duan Lingtian, and after learning that Duan Lingtian came from Wanjia, he became more enthusiastic. 10,000 worlds monk. Such a character is like water without a source and rootless grass in the outside world. Under the same conditions, any force in the outside world is more inclined to the monks of the world. Wanjia, cultivator, since he chose to leave Wanjia and went to a place outside the realm to find a place for power and no longer act as a loose cultivator, it means that he has no worries in Wanjia. Such people are more stable, and through Duan Tianhong's mouth, Duan Lingtian also has a further understanding of the Duan clan, knowing that within the Duan clan, under the semi-sage powerhouse, there are more than a dozen Zeons, and among the dozen or so Zeons, there are several who are close to the semi-sacred existence. It is the contemporary patriarch of the Duan clan, and that is also a very powerful superpower, half-saint that is a half-step world-respected powerhouse. There is also a realm title, the 5th level superpower, also called the 5th stage superpower. It was also through Duan Tianhong's mouth that Duan Lingtian knew for the first time that among the supreme powers, there are also distinct power classes, and for a while he had a further in-depth understanding of the supreme powers. You must know that although he also knew that the strongest were strong and weak, he didn't know how to distinguish them. Of course, in front of Duan Tianhong, he did not explicitly say that he did not know these power classes of the strongest, but just quietly listened to Duan Tianhong's introduction. My strength among the top powerhouses in the Duan clan can only be considered average, and it's not long after I entered the 2nd-tier powerhouse. Our patriarch is at the 3rd rank of Zeon, just like the elders of our law enforcement hall. In the introduction, Duan Tianhong also brought Duan Lingtian to the residence of the Duan family outside the Tourmaline Holy City, which is like a paradise. Found here, the entire station of the Duan clan was surrounded by a maze. As for the reason Duan Lingtian is not difficult to guess, it must be because he does not want to be easily disturbed by outsiders. Powerful existences, even if they are just passing by, can find the Duan clan's residence, while the average strength is difficult to find. A non-powerful person, like Duan Lingtian, is simply unable to see through the numerous confusions outside the Duan clan. Although the Duan family is not afraid of outsiders, it is naturally annoying after being disturbed for a long time. These were all learned by Duan Lingtian from Duan Tianhong. Elder Tianhong. Duan Tianhong brought Duan Lingtian and Tan Xiuting into the residence of the Duan clan, and wherever they went, everyone from the Duan clan who saw Duan Tianhong respectfully saluted Duan Tianhong. There were also some young-looking members of the Duan clan who looked at Duan Lingtian and Tan Xiuting curiously, but did not speak clearly. However, in the dark, voice transmission is constantly communicating, the tone of communication with bursts of surprise. Who are these two people? Judging from the appearance of Elder Tianhong, he seems to be very polite to them. Didn't Elder Tianhong be on duty recently at the Tourmaline Holy City recruiting stronghold? He's bringing people back now, presumably to join our Duan clan. If he can bring people over in person, it shows that the opponent's strength is not bad. I really can't see how powerful those two people are. However, if Elder Tianhong can personally lead the way, and he is so enthusiastic, at least it is close to the existence of the invincible superior god. In the past, it's not that there were no existences close to the invincible superior god venerable into our Duan clan, but those people, I have never heard that Elder Tianhong brought them here in person when he was on duty. Could it be that they are the strongest? Or one of them is the strongest? The discussions of the Duan clan were conducted by voice transmission, so Duan Lingtian naturally couldn't hear them. The current Duan Lingtian is taking Tan Xiuting, led by Duan Tianhong, the second elder of the Duan clan law enforcement hall, to the reception hall of the Duan clan, where he meets the patriarch of the Duan clan. Duan Bing, the patriarch of the Duan clan, had been waiting in the hall for a long time. Patriarch Duan Tianhong brought Duan Lingtian outside the gate of the reception hall, stopped and greeted respectfully inside. "Come in." A loud voice came from the hall. Immediately following, Duan Tianhong smiled and greeted Duan Lingtian to enter together, followed by Tan Xiuting. In the reception hall, Duan Lingtian saw Duan Bing, the patriarch of the Duan clan, and he had already learned about the name of Duan Bing on the way. After entering, he took Tan Xiuting and bowed slightly to Duan Bing. "I have seen Patriarch Duan." Duan Bing, on the other hand, looked at Duan Lingtian with a bright smile on his face. "Are you Duan Lingtian?" "Elder Tianhong has already sent a message to me, saying that you are an existence close to the invincible superior god, and you have mastered the 6th stage of Kendo. I will naturally not question the vision of Elder Tianhong. However, this is the first time I heard that there are non-Xians who have mastered the 6th stage of Kendo. But I don't know. Will Brother Ling Tian give me a lot of insight?" Although he was inquiring, at the same time as the voice fell, Duan Bing, a heavy and majestic aura, had spread out and swept the entire reception hall in a flash, and a force rushed out, protecting the entire reception hall. Duan Lingtian heard Duan Bing's words and felt these changes again, and his heart was suddenly speechless. "You are all like this. Can I still refuse?" Of course, Duan Lingtian didn't plan to refuse at first, because he knew that only when you showed enough value would you be valued. And this time he entered the Duan clan with a purpose, and naturally he would not hide his strengths and bide his time. Without any hesitation, the next moment, Duan Lingshan's body will rise with divine power, cooperate with the power of space law in the realm of small perfection, and show the swordsmanship without reservation. Call out! An astonishing sword beam shot out from Duan Lingtian, as if it could penetrate the heavens and the earth. But before approaching the pillars above the reception hall, it was suppressed by the power of Zhong Bing, the patriarch of the Zhong clan. Although Zhong Bing did this very easily, his gaze towards Duan Lingtian was full of excitement. It's really the 6th stage of Kendo, and it seems that it is not as simple as entering the 6th stage or Wanjia monk. This time, our Duan clan has found a treasure. Duan Bing was extremely surprised. Chapter 4493. Although it was only a brief test, Duan Bing, the patriarch of the Duan clan, has completely confirmed the strength of the person in front of him. It is definitely the kind of existence that is closest to the invincible upper god. Even the monsters of Bibo Tianfu, fighting alone, may not be able to defeat the people in front of them. I'm curious. After testing Duan Lingtian, in addition to his surprise, Duan Bing also expressed his doubts. "With your strength, let alone our Duan clan. Even if you enter Bibo Tianfu, you will be greatly valued. Why did you choose our Duan clan?" Duan Bing asked bluntly. As for Duan Lingtian, when he heard Duan Bing's words, he smiled faintly. "For me, it is naturally better to be able to enter the Bibo Tianfu." However, when I first arrived in the Thunder Holy Land, I am not familiar with many things. That is, there is no way to enter the Bibo, Tianfu. On the contrary, the 3 semi-holy forces in the Tourmaline, Holy City, can enter in the Tourmaline, Holy City. In addition, my surname is Duan, so I chose the Duan family. In the future, if there is a chance to enter the Bibo Tianfu, as long as the Bibo Tianfu can give me something that surpasses what I was in the Duan clan, I will also enter the Bibo Tianfu. This point, before joining the Duan clan, I want to make it clear to you, Clan Chief Duan. Duan Lingtian said something frankly. Duan Tianhong, who was on the side, showed a wry smile on his face. In addition to the wry smile, he looked at Duan Lingtian again, with a little more appreciation. Not everyone can say this kind of thing bluntly. Even if most people stand in the other's position, they will think so. But when they say it, it doesn't always sound so nice. Brother Lingtian is quite honest. And Duan Bing, the patriarch of the Duan clan, didn't feel angry when he heard Duan Lingshan's words, because in his opinion it was understandable. Say nothing else. Even some of the geniuses of his Duan clan are now in Bibo Tianfu, because what they can get when they enter Bibo Tianfu is better than staying in the Duan clan. Semi-holy power, saint power, although it sounds like there is only one class difference. But in fact, in many ways, it can be said to be worlds apart. It's a coincidence. Our Duan clan, 10 years later, will have a chance. If we can make a figure in it, Bibo Tianfu will take the initiative to throw an olive branch to you, Brother Lingtian. Duan Bing looked at Duan Lingtian and said with a smile. When Duan Lingtian heard the words, his eyes were naturally bright. Entering Bibo Tianfu? For him, of course, it is a good thing. The owner is magnanimous. Duan Lingtian slightly cupped his hands and said solemnly, even if I, Duan Lingtian, only stay in the Duan family for 10 years, I will definitely not forget this relationship with the Duan family. He, Duan Lingtian, has never been an ungrateful person. Even if the Duan clan did not pay anything for him in the next 10 years, the chance and recommendation in 10 years will be worthy of his heart. If there is an opportunity in the future, will be rewarded. After chatting a few words with Duan Lingtian, Duan Bing asked Duan Tianhong to take Duan Lingtian to go through the formalities of enshrining into the Duan clan. In fact, it was mainly to receive an identity token. Brother Lingtian, after taking Duan Lingtian to receive the enshrined identity token, Duan Tianhong took him to the place where the Duan clan worshipped and cultivated. With your strength after becoming the enshrined of our Duan clan, it is enough to directly challenge the great worship and become a new member of our Duan clan. Great offering. Our Duan clan's current great worship is good at the law of life, and the law of life has comprehended the realm of small perfection. In addition, we have also mastered the way of devouring in the 3rd stage. The way of swallowing is also one of the 4 ways of heaven and earth. Even when Duan Lingtian was weak in the past, when he was still in the mundane plane, he also mastered the method of swallowing. It was a method from a certain heavenly emperor of the all heavens plane, but later with the improvement of strength, the help to Duan Lingtian became less and less, and it fell. Elder Tianhong, what is the difference between being a big worshipper of the Duan clan and ordinary worshipping? Duan Lingtian asked curiously. There is naturally a difference, and the difference is not small. Duan Tianhong said with a smile, if you don't say anything else, just talk about the place of cultivation. It will be different. The place where our Duan clan worships and cultivates is located in one of the 9 great spiritual springs of our Duan clan, and the place of cultivation that is enshrined in great worship the ground is right within the eye of Lingquan. Lingquan. Duan Lingtian naturally knew that it was the liquid condensed by the spiritual energy of heaven and earth that escaped after the accumulation and transformation of the divine crystals to a certain extent. Wherever the spiritual spring is located, the cultivation environment is impeccable. As for a spiritual spring, the most exciting thing is the spring eye. The spiritual energy of the heaven and earth where the spring is located is not only liquefied, but also very viscous. For practitioners under the strongest, cultivating in it can achieve twice the result with half the effort. In addition, Duan Tianhong continued, our Duan clan every time period will allocate some cultivation resources to the worshippers. Among them, there are many things that make all worshippers jealous. At this time, the big offering has the right to choose, and you can choose 3 of the treasures. As for other offerings, not only can you choose after the big offering, but you can only choose 1 treasure each. In addition, Duan Tianhong also talked about some of the benefits of being a big worship, such as increased salary, different status in the Duan clan. Only one thing, Duan Lingtian couldn't help but feel a little excited. The Duan clan makes great sacrifices. Every year, there is an opportunity to follow the semi-sacred powerhouse of the Duan clan for 3 days. During those 3 days, the semi-sacred powerhouse will do everything possible to satisfy his needs within a certain range. Some requirements. This benefit made Duan Lingshan's heart skip a beat. This place of worship. I am determined to win it. Duan Lingshan's eyes shone brightly. Soon, under the leadership of Duan Tianhong, Duan Lingtian came to the training place arranged by the Duan clan for offering sacrifices, a place where a spiritual spring is located, and from a distance you can see that the spiritual spring is filled with a rich mist of heaven and earth aura. Elder Tianhong, the floating hut within the eyes of Lingquan, should be the place where the great worship and cultivation is now, right? Duan Lingshan's eyes were quickly attracted by Lingquan's spring eyes. What attracted him together was the floating hut in the spiritual spring. The hut stood on a small floating island and was completely filled with the thick and viscous spiritual spring in the spring. The spiritual spring also looked beautiful in the light. Fabulous. Yes. Duan Tianhong nodded. Brother Ling Tian, do you plan to challenge now or wait for a while? There are opportunities to challenge big offerings, although every offering has it, but once it is used up, if it fails, you can only do it again. Wait 30 years before the challenge can be launched. The reason for this regulation is to prevent the great worship from being disturbed too much during cultivation. End of this chapter. Chapter 4494. As a semi-sacred force, the Duan clan has 9 spiritual springs, and every spiritual spring is an excellent place for cultivation. And the spring eye of Lingquan is the place with the most aura of heaven and earth. Of course, although Duan Lingtian is also full of yearning for the special spiritual spring dedicated to this clan, but compared with the other benefits of being a big sacrifice, the attractiveness of the spiritual spring is only average. Now he has accumulated a certain amount of divine crystals in his hand. He opens up the small world in his body and absorbs the power of divine crystals to cultivate with the help of the divine tree of life. The effect is not necessarily worse than this spiritual spring. What he valued most was the opportunity for the Duan clan to enshrine and learn from the half-sage ancestors of the Duan clan. Moreover, Duan Tianhong also made it clear that while studying with the semi-sage ancestor of the Duan clan, he could even make 1 or 2 requests that the semi-sage ancestor could do. Once I become a big worshipper of the Duan clan, it also means that I can use this opportunity to let the half-sage ancestor of the Duan clan take action, and try to see if I can lift Kir's soul imprisonment. If you can successfully lift Kir's soul imprisonment, it is naturally the best. No matter how bad it is also an unexpected joy to be able to allow that strong man to delay the progress of the soul imprisonment and erosion of the soul for Kir. In fact, although he is not quite sure, Duan Lingtian is still not very sure about the fact that the semi-sage can lift the soul imprisonment for his wife Kir. But now he has no other way to go. He wants to let the saint take action. But easier said than done. Now, even if he wants to meet a saint, it is difficult. Saint, that is, the realm powerhouse. Even in his hometown anti-god realm, it is said that there is only one such powerhouse. Of course, this is what Duan Lingtian has learned since he came to the outer worlds. At the same time, he has also gained a better understanding of many aspects of the anti-God realm that were previously unreachable. Anti-God realm, one of the myriad realms. Beneath the upper 3 realms, the strongest of the 10,000 realms, were the 18 middle realms, and the anti-God realm was one of them. In the 18th realm, most of them have realm powerhouses. Even if there are no real-world powerhouses, it is said that there are many powerful semi-sages sitting in town, joining forces in their own realms with special realm power bonuses, and are not afraid of ordinary foreign realm powerhouses. Elder Tianhong, I think I will challenge this great worshipper now. Duan Lingtian looked at Duan Tianhong and said bluntly. When Duan Tianhong heard the words, he nodded. The invitation to the war will disturb his cultivation, and even if he is in seclusion, he will be disturbed. Therefore, according to the rules of our Duan clan, if someone wakes up from a closed-door seclusion, an invitational battle will no longer be a discussion. As long as the big offering is needed, it can directly turn into a life-and-death battle. I want to make it clear to you in advance. Duan Tianhong did not doubt Duan Lingshan's strength between his words. The reason why he said this was that he hoped that Duan Lingtian would be merciful. Brother Lingtian, if this person wants to turn the discussion into a life-and-death battle, please be merciful. He can actually remind the other party through voice transmission, so that even if the other party is angry, he cannot turn a discussion into a life-and-death battle. But I am afraid that the other party will not believe it. Geniuses are proud. Elder Tianhong, don't worry, I know it. Duan Lingtian smiled lightly. If he was disturbed at the death stage, any normal person would be furious. Even he would hate the disturbed person. So, in this case, he is angry and even wants to kill. He can understand it completely. Okay. Duan Tianhong nodded, and then informed Duan Lingtian of the process of inviting the opponent to fight. As soon as Duan Tianhong's voice fell, Duan Lingtian moved his hand, took off the identity token directly, and poured a divine power into it, pulling the hidden power aura in the token, and swept the spiritual spring. In the next moment, the spring's eyes shook, and the liquefied spiritual energy of the sky and the earth in the floating hut was also turbulent, and then collapsed everywhere, causing the floating hut to completely lose the shroud of the spiritual energy of heaven and earth. After the disintegration of the spiritual energy of heaven and earth, after disintegrating, there are signs of gathering again. However, at this moment, an angry roar could be heard from the floating hut. Whoever challenges me when I am in seclusion, I will kill you. This challenge is no longer a competition, but a life-and-death battle. At the same time as the voice fell, a sturdy young man with thunder and lightning all over his body walked out of the floating hut. His resolute and square face was full of anger. He is closing in. Although this time of death, his strength may not be greatly improved. However, being disturbed at a critical moment undoubtedly made him extremely annoyed. Boom! In the midst of the thunder and lightning turmoil, the sturdy young man who walked out of the floating hut rose from the sky, and in a blink of an eye, he arrived in the void on the same height as Duan Lingtian and Duan Tianhong. Elder Tianhong. The sturdy young man looked at Duan Tianhong for the first time, bowed his hand slightly, and clearly tried to suppress his anger in his tone. Is this person new? Qin worships. Duan Tianhong looked at the sturdy young man's side, and then said with a voice transmission, You are not the opponent of this new enshrinment. His strength, under the invincible superior God, there should be almost no one who can defeat him. At least in the Leixing territory, even the strongest people under the so-called invincible superior God venerable, the strength is at most comparable to him. Duan Tianhong's words can be said to be very straightforward. However, when the sturdy young man heard the words, he sneered, didn't believe it at all, and even spoke out bluntly without a vague response to Duan Tianhong. Elder Tianhong, even if you want to speak for him, you don't need to be so exaggerated. If there is such a strength, I don't think he will come to the Duan clan. Obviously, this surnamed Qin worshipped and did not believe Duan Tianhong's words. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. At the same time, one after another silhouettes rose up from the floating cabins on the islands in the sky where Lingquan was located. They were the other enshrines of the Duan clan. Someone challenged to worship Qin Yuni. New here. It must be a newcomer. Among us, even the Yuanzong whose strength is the closest to the great worship. Even if there is a breakthrough, I am afraid that it is at most comparable to Qinzong, and it is almost impossible to beat him. Moreover, Yuanzong to worship, I will definitely not challenge Qinzong when he is in seclusion. And even if he wants to challenge him, he will definitely choose a time when Qinzong is not in retreat. Listen to Qin Feng's words. Elder Tianhong, the voice transmission told him that the newcomer is very strong. If Qin Feng doesn't think the other party really has that strength, will he still come to the Duan family? Elder Tianhong won't tell Qin worship that this person's strength is comparable to those of us who are invincible under the invincible superior gods in the Thunder Saint realm? If so, it's too outrageous. It's impossible for such an existence to come to our Duan clan, right? A group of Duan clan worshippers talked a lot, and they were all guessing how Duan Tianhong described the strength of the new worshipper when he transmitted his voice to Qin Yuni. At the same time, all eyes fell on Duan Lingtian. Qin worships. After Duan Tianhong was speechless for a while, he sighed, then stepped aside, looked at Duan Lingtian, and said, "Brother Lingtian, please be merciful." In a word, not only did a group of Duan clan worship in disbelief, but Qin Yuni's face turned slightly red, feeling that he was being looked down upon. What made him almost vomit blood from anger was that the new worshipper, the young man dressed in purple, after hearing Duan Tianhong's words, nodded solemnly. "Elder Tianhong, don't worry, I don't. We'll kill him." Tan Shouting also stepped aside at this time, looking at the eyes of the Duan clan's great worship with a vague sense of pity. In the existence close to the invincible superior god, his young master is definitely an existence that can be called invincible. The strength of this clan's big offering may be all right, even surpassing the existence of the invincible upper gods. But in front of his young master, it is definitely not enough to see. Insanity. Qin Yuni was furious and took a step forward abruptly. Thunder and lightning rose from his body. The surrounding space oscillated, and tiny cracks in the space were looming. A powerful momentum also swept out of him, spreading out with a mighty momentum. "Today, as long as your strength is not as good as mine, you will die." Qin Yuni stared at Duan Lingshan's eyes, full of icy killing intent, choosing someone to devour. The surrounding group of the Duan clan worshipped, and they all took a breath of air at this time. They know that this great worshipper is really angry. They have worked with this great worshipper for many years, and this is the first time they have seen each other so angry. End of this chapter. Chapter 4495. Seeing the aggressive Duan clan worshipping Qin Yuni in front of him, Duan Lingshan's expression was extremely calm. Although the strength of this Qin Yuni is obviously stronger than that of any other existence that is close to the invincible high-ranking gods, except Linghu Yundi. However, for him now, it is no different from an existence that is generally close to an invincible upper god. His current strength has reached another level. Although it still hasn't gotten rid of the category of close to the invincible upper gods, it is not on the same level as other people in this category. Duan Lingshan's calm face and indifferent eyes all fell into the eyes of Qin Yuni, the great worshipper of the Duan clan, making his complexion even more gloomy. The terrifying anger was also completely vented in an instant. "Die!" Qin Yuni let out a loud roar, and then the whole person, like an angry tiger, rushed towards Duan Lingtian. A terrifying thunder and lightning storm wrapped around him, and he also had a 9-foot-long spear in his hand, and the whole body was surrounded by thunder and lightning. Shoot! Whoosh! Qin Yunyi shook the spear in his hand, and his body was wrapped in blood, and even the power of blood was used by him at this moment, without any reservation. Moreover, his spear stabbed out so powerfully that it even caused the space to collapse, and a hideous space crack appeared, which also contained a hint of illegality. The way to control. At this moment, Duan Lingtian can also confirm that the Duan clan in front of him, who worships Qin Yunyi, has not only mastered the thunder law of the small perfection realm, the power of the bloodline is tyrannical, but also has mastered a good way of control. With one shot, the thunder and lightning followed. At this moment, Qin Yunyi seemed to have transformed into a majestic god of war, invincible and irresistible. As soon as he made a move, it was all his strength, as if he wanted to meet Duan Lingtian, an outsider who challenged his position of great worship, face to face. The strength of the big offering is still as strong as ever. It's the first time I've seen a great worshipper use such a powerful force. Even when he challenged the last great worshipper in the past, it was far worse than it is now. This is the true strength of the big offering, isn't it? Qin Yunyi's action caused an uproar among the surrounding members of the Duan clan. Some of them had never even seen Qin Yunyi's action. This was the first time, and some people, although they have seen Qin Yunyi take action, but the strength that Qin Yunyi showed in the past is far less than now. This Qin Yunyi. Even Duan Tianhong, who was standing beside him, was a little surprised. Did he hide something in the past, or has he made great progress recently? He actually doesn't know much about Qin Yunyi. As for Qin Yunyi's strength in the past, he only knew it from other people, and he had never seen it with his own eyes. But the strength of Qin Yunyi that he heard about was definitely not as strong as it is now. In our Duan clan, if you don't count this Lingtian brother who just joined our Duan clan, under the supreme power, there are probably only 2 people who can compete with Qin Yunyi at most. Duan Tianhong was quiet in his heart. In the Duan clan, although there is no invincible, high-ranking god venerable, nor Duan Lingshan's existence close to the invincible, high-ranking god venerable, there are still 2 heavens chosen ones. Their strength is also top-notch among the existences that are close to the invincible upper gods. If Duan Lingshan's level is considered the first echelon, then the 2 of them are definitely the best in the second echelon. In the past, in his eyes, although the big worship Qin Yunyi was strong, he barely entered the second echelon. But today, after seeing Qin Yunyi's strength, he realized that Qin Yunyi's strength is no better than that of the 2 gods in the Duan clan. The pride is weak. This Qin Yunyi's strength is really good. Facing the menacing Qin Yunyi, who was like a of war, Duan Lingtian sighed inwardly. If it had been some time ago, before the breakthrough, I might not have been his opponent. However, now, it can only be counted as unlucky for him. Qin Yunyi's strength is the most powerful being close to the invincible superior among the people he has contacted so far who have shown strength in front of him. As for the Linghu Yundi of the Linghu family of the heavenly sect in the Pingxiong realm, although he was recognized as the first person under the invincible superior in the Pingxiong realm, he had never seen the opponent make a move, and he did not know how strong the opponent was. However, judging from what he knew, Linghu Yundi's strength was definitely stronger than Qin Yunyi in front of him, and even compared with him now, it was highly likely that he was on par with him. Call out! In the face of the menacing Qin Yunyi, Duan Lingshan's divine power that was ready to go also swept out in an instant like a violent storm, and the colorful sword lights shot out from the palm of his hand, and then turned into a huge 7-color lightsaber, carrying the raging and violent space force directly attacked Qin Yunyi. Without too many bells and whistles, Duan Lingtian stood on the spot. His divine power swept through. The power of space law surged, and with his swordsmanship he directly met Qin Yunyi. At this moment, he didn't even have the thought of summoning the space law clone. In his opinion, Qin Yunyi is not qualified to let him summon the space law clone. You must know that for him now, the avatar of the law corresponding to the law that has not yet entered the realm of small perfection may not be helpful in actual combat, but the avatar of the space law corresponding to the law of space entering the realm of small perfection, even if he does not have 10, into strength and at least 80%. After all, the space law clone can also use his kendo power. Today, even if my deity didn't make a move, but the space law clone made a move, it's not difficult to win this Qin Uni. But I'm new here, and I don't plan to hide anymore. Now, naturally, the stronger the strength, the better. In this way, the Duan clan can further see my value. My Duan Lingshan's worth, call out. The colorful swords flashed out, and with a clean sword, they met the menacing Qin Uni. In the next moment, as the colorful sword beams and Qin Uni's offensive collided, a loud bang was also spread out at the right time, and the terrifying power was raging in all directions. If Duan Tianhong on the side hadn't acted in time to isolate the remaining power, the Duan family's spiritual spring would never have been preserved. Because Lingquan is a place of practice, and the arrangement of defensive formations will interfere with the flow of spiritual energy in the world. So in any place where the Duan clan is located, there is no defensive formation to protect the spiritual spring alone. Boom! Boom! In the space isolated by Duan Tianhong, the forces were constantly colliding, and the figures of Duan Lingtian and Qin Uni were also shrouded in the rays of light from the colliding forces. However, the beginning of the collision was a little louder. After the mighty momentum passed, it quickly calmed down, and the light in the space isolated by Duan Tianhong was also getting dimmer. Soon, two figures appeared in front of everyone. The young man dressed in purple stood there unscathed, and even his robes did not even have the slightest wrinkle, as if he was not the one who experienced the violent force just now. Look at the other side. This. A group of worshippers from the Duan clan were all dumbfounded, their eyes filled with astonishment and disbelief. Under their eyes, Qin Uni was in a state of embarrassment. His robe was torn all over. Blood was dripping, his flesh was blurred, and even no one could make a sound. Space below. I do not know life and death. Congratulations on the big offering. It wasn't until Duan Tianhong's voice came, and the worship of the Duan clan, that he came back to his senses and looked at the purple figure again, becoming more and more awe-inspiring. I have seen a big offering. Everyone bowed and saluted. The person in front of him is the new worship of their Duan clan, a more powerful worshipper. With just one sword, the former great worship was defeated. End of this chapter. Chapter 4496. Duan Lingtian just joined the new worship of the Duan clan. On the first day of joining the Duan clan, he defeated the Duan clan to worship Qin Uni and became the new worship of the Duan clan. Duan Lingtian, a high-ranking who comprehended the laws of space to the realm of small perfection, defeated Qin Uni face to face with his amazing swordsmanship. Duan Lingshan swordsmanship is suspected to be above the 5th rank. The second day after coming to the Duan clan, the name Duan Lingtian spread not only among the Duan clan, but even in the Tourmaline holy city. Moreover, the more and more outrageous. Have you heard? The Duan clan's newly promoted consecration, named Duan Lingtian, just arrived in the Duan clan, and defeated the Duan clan with a sword before the consecration Qin Uni. It is said that he realized the law of space to the great perfection realm, is an invincible upper god. Really or not? How did I hear that his space law was just entering the realm of small perfection, but it was swordsmanship, and he realized the realm of myth of the 7th order, so he has the strength of the invincible superior god. What you said is not right. What I heard is, he is a strong man who has comprehended the swordsmanship to the 8th order legendary realm, and the law of space has also comprehended the realm of great perfection. Among the invincible superior gods is also an invincible existence. In the Tourmaline holy city, the rumors about Duan Lingtian became more and more outrageous. Later, some people said that the newly promoted Duan clan worshipped Duan Lingtian and looked beyond the world, and even the world they were called the strongest under the strongest and invincible under the strong. Duan Lingtian returned to the Tourmaline holy city to hang out on the second day when he arrived at the Duan family's residence. When he heard these rumors, he was speechless. This person from the Tourmaline holy city is really able to pass on it. Dare to pass it on. While Duan Lingtian was speechless, he couldn't help shaking his head. The current Duan Lingtian is walking with Tan Xiaoting on the streets of the Tourmaline holy city. Before entering the Duan clan, he had not visited the Tourmaline holy city well. In the Duan family's residence, there are many elders of the Duan family. When they learned that their family had come to worship such a powerful person, they all came to the door and wanted to get acquainted with Duan Lingtian. However, because Duan Lingtian went out early in the morning, they all fluttered. When rumors were flying in the Tourmaline holy city, the other two semi-holy forces in the Tourmaline holy city also received news from the Duan family. Of course, the version they know is the real version. On the Duan clan, the action is really fast. How long has it been since the envoys from Bibo, Tianfu came, and they found such a genius who is good at swordsmanship? The Yuan clan, as one of the three semi-sacred forces in the Tourmaline holy city, is not weaker than the Duan clan. Some time ago, the Yuan clan also received an invitation from the Bibo Tianfu, inviting the Yuan clan to send them to comprehend the fourth rank of Kendo, the existence under the strong Xian, go to the return to the ruins found in the Bibo Tianfu. However, because there is a person in the Yuan clan who has comprehended the fourth rank of Kendo and is close to the existence of an invincible superior god, so he is not in a hurry. There is an advantage over there. Unexpectedly, within 2 days, the Duan clan recruited a genius who mastered the fifth order swordsmanship and comprehended the space law, one of the four supreme laws, to the realm of small perfection. This time, the Yuan clan not only had no advantages, but even fell into a disadvantage. Second elder, third elder. The two of you leave the Tourmaline holy city immediately and look around for strong people who meet the requirements, and strive to find a few more within 10 years, representing our Yuan clan who went to Bibo, Tianfu to find the one. A place of return. The patriarch of the Yuan clan, while feeling the pressure, also gave orders. Wan Shenglu, the three semi-sacred forces in the Tourmaline holy city, along with the Duan family and the Yuan family, was also not calm at this time. However, unlike the wrath of the patriarch of the Yuan clan, the head of the Wansheng building, the owner of the Wansheng building, issued orders in a calm tone, urging the Wansheng building to branch out and do everything there to excavate the Bibo Tianfu after 10 years, the powerhouse that was found in the place of return to the ruins. This time, the Yuan clan and the Duan clan walked ahead of us. However, they are clans after all, and they are deeply ingrained in the Tourmaline holy city. In terms of external power, they are far inferior to our Wanshenglu, and this is also the confidence of the owner of Wansheng building. Wanshenglu is not a clan power, but a sect-like power mainly engaged in business. The ranks are strict. If you want to get ahead in it, you not only need to have talent and strength, but also have enough business talent. And Wanshengless industries outside are also blooming everywhere. In terms of wealth, even the Yuan clan and the Duan clan combined are not as good as Wanshenglu. In addition, immediately investigate the newly promoted worshipper of the Duan clan to see if he really has no blood relationship with the Duan clan. If it's really not related by blood, 9 times out of 10, it's because the Duan clan also has the surname Duan, and he is given priority to join the Duan clan. He may not yet understand the strength of our Wansheng building. In this case, you can send someone to contact him to see if he can be dug into our Wansheng building. On the Wanshengla side, not only have the external actions quickened, but many people have begun to comprehensively investigate Duan Lingtian, the newest worshipper of the Duan clan. With the in-depth investigation of Wan Xinglu, they also have a further understanding of Duan Lingtian's origin. Could it be really him? Duan Lingtian, who had been wandering in the Tourmaline holy city for a long time, was just about to take Tan Xiuting to leave the Tourmaline holy city and return to the Duan family. But just before they left the city, someone stopped them. The person who stopped them was an elderly man with a medium stature and ordinary appearance, but his eyes were extraordinarily sharp. The old man was wearing a light blue robe, standing there, giving people a feeling of indescribable, invisibly revealed momentum, making Tan Xiuting short of breath. Even Duan Lingtian's pupils also suddenly shrank. The strongest. In this instant, Duan Lingtian concluded that the person in front of him was a superpower. As for who was coming, he didn't know. However, this does not mean that he is afraid of each other. Now, he is not alone. Behind him, there is the Duan clan. Even though most of the Duan clan's powerhouses are far away from the clan's residence outside the Tourmaline holy city, there are still a few supreme powerhouses in the Tourmaline holy city. Among them, the second elder of the law enforcement hall, Duan Tianhong, who brought him back to the Duan clan yesterday. Little friend Ling Tian, the old man's Wan Shang building Luyen. There is no malicious intent here. When Duan Lingtian was preparing to send a message to Duan Tianhong, the old man in front of him smiled slightly and spoke very politely. At the same time, the momentum surrounding Duan Lingtian and Tan Xiuting disappeared at this moment. Wan Shang building. Hearing the other party's words, Duan Lingtian raised his brows. He knew that Wan Xinglu was one of the 3 semi-sacred forces in the Tourmaline holy city, and was as famous as the Duan clan. It's just that the people from Wan Xinglu, what do they want him to do? Moreover, listening to the other party calling him little friend Ling Tian, he obviously knew who he was. Unlike most people in the Tourmaline holy city, although they heard his name, they still couldn't recognize him face to face. End of this chapter. Chapter 4497. It turned out to be Senior Lu Yan of Wan Shang building. Duan Lingtian took a few more glances at the old man in front of him. Yesterday, after defeating Qin Yuni and officially becoming the great worshipper of the Duan clan, Duan Tianhong, the second elder of the law enforcement hall of the Duan clan, did not leave in a hurry but stayed and chatted with him for a while. It was at that time that Duan Tianhong introduced him to the other 2 semi-holy forces in the Tourmaline holy city, Yuan family, Wan Shang building. He also introduced some important figures in these 2 semi-holy forces. Among them, Lu Yan, the deputy owner of Wan Shang building. According to Duan Tianhong, Lu Yan, the deputy owner of the Wan Shang building, is a 3rd-tier Xian. You must know that even Duan Tianhong, the second elder of the Duan family law enforcement hall, is only a 2nd-tier Xian. As for the existence of the 3rd order Xian, it is not that Duan Lingtian has never come into contact with him. For example, Duan Bing, the patriarch of the Duan family, is the existence of the 3rd order Xian. In addition, the Chiming demon venerable of Chiming Mountain and Qingtian sword Situ Lei he met in Tiansha realm should also be 3rd order Xians according to his estimation. Little friend Ling Tian. Lu Yan looked at Duan Lingtian with a smile on his face, a smile that made people feel like a spring breeze. This old man is here on orders. Our landlord of Wan Shang building wants to see little friend Ling Tian. But I don't know, Ling Tian, little are you willing to admire your face? As soon as Lu Yan said these words, Duan Lingtian was shocked again. Wan Shang building owner? Yesterday, when Duan Tianhong introduced Wan Shang building to him, it was naturally impossible not to introduce the owner of Wan Shang building. The owner of Wan Shang building, named Qin Rufei, is a strong 4th order Xian, and is also second only to the old landlord in Wan Shang building, and is recognized as the 2nd strongest in Wan Shang building. Senior Lu Yan, I have joined the Duan clan. Duan Lingtian frowned slightly. It is not difficult for him to guess the purpose of the invitation of the landlord of Wansheng Building. It is very likely that he is also here for the return to the ruins, which will be opened 10 years later by Bibo Tianfu, and wants to let himself act on behalf of Wansheng Building. However, now that he has joined the Duan clan, it is naturally impossible for him to have anything to do with Wanshenglu. Next, even if he wants to join any forces, he must give priority to the saints. Elder Tianhong. At the same time, without any hesitation, Duan Lingtian directly sent a summons to Duan Tianhong, the second elder of the Duan Family Law Enforcement Hall, informing him of his current experience. Now, what he is facing is also the existence of the Third Order Xian. If he really wants to be detrimental to him, he may have to die in a blink of an eye. Of course, this possibility is very small. After all, killing oneself, for the other party, has only disadvantages and no benefits. However, Duan Lingtian still did not dare to take risks. In this world, there is no shortage of people who are not good for oneself, so there is no need to risk his own life. I'm not malicious. Lu Yan also found out Duan Lingshan's message, and shook his head with his face unchanged. We at Wanshenglu already know that little friend Ling Tian has joined the Duan clan. Little friend, you don't need to be so wary of me. Beware of Wan Commercial Building. At the same time, Duan Tianhong, who received Duan Lingshan's message, was drinking tea quietly there. After receiving the message, he suddenly stood up and disappeared directly in place. One after another, he passed it on, and it spread to the various industries of the Duan family in the Tourmaline Holy City. These industries, without exception, all have the most powerful people of the Duan clan in charge. Soon, Duan Tianhong brought the other 4 supreme powers of the Duan clan to the scene, stood in front of Duan Lingtian, and protected Duan Lingtian behind him. At the same time, he stared at Lu Yan eagerly. Lu Deputy Landlord, Ling Tian's offering is already a big offering of our Duan clan. You Wansheng Building, do you still want to dig a wall? Duan Tianhong stared at Lu Yan and asked in a bad tone. Lu Yan went to Duan Lingtian. He didn't have to guess what the purpose was. It must be Wanshenglu who wanted to win over their Duan clan, a newcomer to worship. After all, the upper-level gods who mastered the 6th Order Kendo and the space law of the small perfection, such an existence, any semi-holy force can break the head. This time, their Duan clan took advantage of the surname, and the other party took the initiative to find their Duan clan. Otherwise, in terms of conditions and treatment, their Duan clan really can't compare to the power of Wanshenglu. Duan Tianhong. Lu Yan glanced at Duan Tianhong lightly, obviously knowing Duan Tianhong. Good birds choose wood to live in. This sentence has been the supreme truth since ancient times. Little friend Ling Tian just joined your Duan clan yesterday, and what you have enjoyed so far is just a false title for a big offering. Haven't you taken the real benefits of your Duan clan yet? Even if we take it, our Wanshenglu can represent little friend Ling Tian and return the double gift from your Duan family. After Lu Yan's remarks, he had the demeanor of him not bad for money, but in fact the Wansheng Building behind him is indeed not bad for this extraneous thing. If they can pay for something in exchange for the participation of the youth in purple, they will make a lot of money in Wanshenglu. Lu Yan's remarks also made Duan Tianhong's faces change with anger. They never thought that Lu Yan directly admitted that he was digging the corner of their Duan clan. This is tantamount to hitting their Duan clan in the face. Lu Yan, do you think our Duan clan is easy to deceive? Beside Duan Tianhong, another Xian from the Duan clan, with a gloomy expression and cold eyes like a sword, fell on Lu Yan, the deputy owner of the Wansheng Building. However, Lu Yan ignored him at all, and looked at Duan Lingtian for himself, with a smile like a spring breeze on his face again. Little friend Lingtian, if you enter our Wansheng Building, we can do whatever you need in Wansheng Building. Do your best. Lu Yan. Duan Tianhong was furious, his aura soared, and terrifying power fluctuations spread and swept across, instantly swept away the onlookers who were gradually hiding by the roadside, and the terrifying power fluctuations oscillated and even made the buildings on both sides of the road start to crumble. On the road, countless sand and stones rose up, and the ground began to vibrate. One after another, terrifying cracks continued to spread out from the feet of Duan Tianhong like a huge spider web. As for the other 4 Duan clan Xians beside Duan Tianhong, the power in their bodies was also ready to go, and they stared at Lu Yen. Lu Yen showed disdain. "You don't think that the 5 of you are my opponents, right?" A Xian Tier 2. For Xian Tier 1s, it is not his opponent of the Xian Tier 3 at all. Seeing that the war was about to break out, Duan Lingtian knew that at this time it was time for him to speak up, and he couldn't help but take a step forward and stood side by side with Duan Tianhong. However, just when Duan Lingtian was about to speak, an indifferent voice came from outside the Tourmaline holy city. "They are not your Lu Yan's opponents." "What about me?" Duan Tianhong's aura instantly subsided a lot, and at the same time his face showed surprise. The other 4 Xians of the Duan clan also breathed a sigh of relief at this time. This one is here, and they have nothing to do with them. Call! As if a gust of wind blew, a figure, Feng Suyufeng, appeared in front of everyone, standing in front of Duan Lingtian and others, and stood facing Lu Yen. End of this chapter. Chapter 4498. The person who came was a middle-aged man with a medium build, wearing a light blue robe. After he appeared, he stared indifferently at Lu Yen, the deputy owner of Wanshang Building. "Elder Wu Yang! Elder Wu Yang!" And with the appearance of the middle-aged man, the Xians of the Duan clan that Duan Tianhong brought also bowed respectfully to each other. Looking at their appearance, it was obvious that they were in awe of each other from the bottom of their hearts. "Elder Wu Yang?" Hearing the names of several Xians of the Duan clan to the people who came, Duan Lingtian suddenly realized that this is the chief elder of the Duan clan law enforcement hall, who controls the existence of the Duan clan law enforcement hall. Duan Wu Yang. The strength is not weaker than the existence of Duan Bing, the contemporary patriarch of the Duan clan, a strong third-order Xian. Hiss, tear! At the same time, the growing crowd of onlookers, many of whom had heard of Qin Wuyang, also took a deep breath. All the elders of the law enforcement hall of the Duan clan are here? This is one of the pillars of the Duan clan. 1. You don't know the person across from their Duan clan, right? This one. But Lu Yen, the deputy owner of Wanshang Building, is not weaker than Duan Wuyang's existence. The Duan family and Wanshanglu. Is this going to work? I just came. Who can tell me what they did? It seems to be because of that young man. I remembered it. This young man is Duan Lingtian, the arrogant powerhouse who has been famous in the Tourmaline holy city for the past 2 days. Duan Lingtian? That newcomer from the Duan clan? The eyes of the onlookers quickly fell on Duan Lingtian, making Duan Lingtian the center of attention. In the field, Duan Wuyang and Lu Yen stood facing each other, and the eyes of the two looked at each other. At this moment, sparks seemed to collide. At the same time, the momentum of the two also soared. Duan Wuyang. Lu Yen looked at the middle-aged man in front of him, and his eyes were full of jealousy. Although he was also a third-tier Xian, he knew that this person's strength was only stronger than his own. Even if the other party is the third-level Xian who was promoted after him. However, this one, but once relying on the realm of the second-order peak of Xian, and a third-order Xian battle became a tie. What the other party understands is the law of thunder that originates from the law of the 5 elements, but is separated from the law of the 5 elements, and even surpasses the law of the 5 elements. In addition, the opponent's attainments in the 4 realms of heaven and earth are not low. Just as Lu Yen and Duan Wuyang stood facing each other, their momentum collided, and they were about to explode. Humph! A cold snort seemed to come from all directions, and even alarmed the entire Tourmaline holy city. You Wan Shenglu and the Duan clan are going to fight. Go out of the city to fight. The Tourmaline holy city is not your arena. After the cold snort, a majestic and loud voice followed and continued to spread throughout the Tourmaline holy city. For a time, the entire Tourmaline holy city was a sensation again. This voice seems to come from the city lord's mansion. It's the city lord of the Tourmaline holy city, the head of the 7 holy sons of Bibo Tianfu in the past. I've heard of this city lord for a long time, but he has always been a dragon without seeing the end. Usually, let alone seeing others, it is difficult to hear his voice. But I didn't expect that I heard his voice today. Sound. This former head of the 7 holy sons of Bibo Tianfu is said to be infinitely close to the semi-sacred, and only half a step away can step into the existence of the semi-sacred realm. 3 of the 7 saints of Bibo Tianfu's generation are now semi-sacred powerhouses. If this one hadn't been accidentally injured in the return to the ruins, I'm afraid he would have been a semi-sacred. After all, he is the former Bibo, the head of the 7 holy sons of Tianfu. When the majestic and loud voice of the Lord of the Tourmaline holy city spread throughout the Tourmaline holy city, an old and powerful voice followed from the city. City, Lord, calm down. We, Wan Shenglu, have no intention of fighting with the Duan clan. Lu Yan, come back. After the voice spread and entered Lu Yan's ears, Lu Yan just took a deep look at Duan Weiyang, then turned around silently without saying anything. Since the landlords of the Wanshang building have asked him to go back, it is naturally impossible for him to stay here. In fact, when the lord of the Tourmaline holy city opened his mouth, he already had the intention of retreating. That one but rarely heard any news. If that one really cares about what happened today, even Wan Shenglu can't keep him. That one is not an ordinary disciple of Bibo Tianfu. The current saint of Bibo Tianfu is his master. That one is the saint disciple. And Duan Weiyang, at the same time as Lu Yan left, looked at Duan Lingtian with a stiff smile on his old-fashioned face. Lingtian worships. Do you want to go back to the clan with me? Trouble Elder Weiyang. Duan Lingtian didn't plan to stay in the Tourmaline holy city. He never imagined that because of his lack of thought, such a series of chain reactions would be triggered. Even the city owner of Tourmaline holy city was shocked. However, even if he was given another chance to start over, he would still summon Duan Tianhong. After all, no one knows what Wan Shenglu wants to do. If he really ignores the disadvantage of the Duan clan to him, his ending can be said to be dead and alive. The damage to the houses on the street here, you repair it. Before leaving with Duan Ling Tianlin, Duan Weiyang said hello to a Duan clan Xian who was beside Duan Tianhong, and the latter also immediately activated his divine power and cooperated with the unfathomable laws of the earth system, instantly turning the ground and the scene on the spot. The collapse of the house was restored, and it looked brand new in a blink of an eye. It seems that one person is enough to catch up with 1,000 engineering teams. Duan Lingtian also further saw the means of the strongest. It's not just the profound meaning of the law. The most important thing is the supreme divine power of the supreme power. A high-ranking god venerable with strength like me and good at earth-based laws may be able to repair these traces, but it will never be so perfect. And it will definitely take a lot of time. At the same time, Duan Lingtian also remembered the Xian beside Duan Tianhong, a Xian who was good at the law of the earth system and should be a first-order Xian. Of course, even if it is the first-tier Xian, Duan Lingtian can't catch up with the horse now. If he really wants to be detrimental to Duan Lingtian, a casual slap is enough to kill Duan Lingtian. Under the Xian, only the invincible superior god Venerable has the opportunity to save his life under the hands of the first-order Xian. Before leaving with Duan Weiyang, Duan Lingtian also said hello to Duan Tianhong, and at the same time apologized. Elder Tianhong this time dragged you down. That city lord, shouldn't he be angry with you afterwards? Rest assured. Duan Tianhong replied through a voice transmission. That city lord wants to live in a seclusion. Just now, we didn't really do anything. At most, he was just a warning, and he wouldn't really do anything to us. Although Duan Tianhong said this, when he mentioned the city lord of the Tourmaline Holy City, Duan Lingtian could obviously notice that his tone was slightly unnatural. Duan Lingtian took Tan Xiuting and followed Duan Weang out of the Tourmaline Holy City, heading towards the direction of the Duan family's residence. The group of onlookers also dispersed one after another after Duan Tianhong, and the others left. When he left, he couldn't help but sigh with emotion. It seems that this newcomer from the Duan family is really not an ordinary Tianjiao. Otherwise, Wan Shenglu wouldn't be so blatantly poaching. Even if he's not an invincible high-ranking god, I'm afraid it's not much different. Otherwise, Wan Shenglu would never be like this. The Duan family, this time it's a treasure. What Duan Lingtian didn't expect was when he followed Duan Weang back to the Duan family's residence. In the Tourmaline Holy City, another brand new news spread widely. The Duan family's newly promoted worship is suspected to be the Tianjiao powerhouse who obtained a large number of Bliss Flower King and Beiming Hand Fish King from the Tailing Zhong family and the Bingdi Lung family in the Pingxiong realm. After the news spread, the entire Tourmaline Holy City was a sensation. There are also many people, their eyes are shining with extreme greed, as if they have seen some peerless treasure. End of this chapter. Chapter 4499. Chapter 4499, 10 years later, 9 Bliss Flower Kings, 3 Beiming Hand Fish Kings. Oh my god, that person is the one who worshipped the Duan clan. I didn't expect it. Now he joined the Duan clan, and it is not so easy to move him, unless he wants to confront the Duan clan head-on. For the sake of the 9 Bliss Flower Kings and the 3 North Netherfrost Fish Kings, they're going head-to-head with the Duan clan, who are semi-sacred forces? Whoever intends to do this will definitely have a sick mind. Although I guess that this person's background is not ordinary, but after all, I am not sure which power it is. Now, everyone knows that he has entered the Duan clan and has a backer. If you move him again, you need to consider the anger of the Duan clan. Up and down the Tourmaline Holy City, similar remarks were staged everywhere. As long as anyone with background, it is naturally impossible to take risks against Duan Lingtian, because behind them there are also forces. If they can run away from the temple, the monks can't run away from the temple. If the Duan family can't find them, they will inevitably vent their anger to the forces behind them. Body. As for those with no background, how many people can be Duan Lingtian's opponents under those loose cultivators and the strongest? As for the cultivators of the strongest, if they dare to take action in the Tourmaline Holy City, or even around the Tourmaline Holy City, it will definitely be a mortal situation. The Duan clan has semi-sacred powerhouses. The strength of the semi-sage powerhouse is not only due to his own strength, but even to the person he is concerned about. Within a certain distance, he can sense whether the other party is in danger. This kind of induction relies on the identity token of the Duan clan. Of course, in the offerings of the Duan clan, there is only the identity token of the big offering, which can bring a trace of spiritual sense from the semi-sacred powerhouse of the Duan clan. This news is likely to be spread by Wan Shenglu. In the Duan clan, it has been a few days since the last time they went out to the Tourmaline Holy City. Duan Tianhong, the second elder of the law enforcement hall, was on vacation. The first thing he did when he returned to the Duan clan was to come to Duan Lingtian and inform Duan Lingtian. Recently, there has been a lot of news about the Tourmaline Holy City. Brother Lingtian, are you really the one who plundered the Bliss Flower King and Beiming Hand Fish King from the Pingxingjing Zhong clan and the Lung clan? Although the news spread around the world, Duan Tianhong had to doubt it, but before he heard Duan Lingshan's admission, he didn't dare to think that it was 100% correct. However, Duan Lingshan's appearance was too coincidence. Moreover, what Duan Lingtian is good at is the same as the one in the rumors, also the laws of space and swordsmanship. It's me. At this time, Duan Lingtian did not deny it, but admitted it directly. For this matter, he was already mentally prepared, so he was not surprised. However, as he had expected, this matter must have been discovered by the Duan clan first. After all, after he became a big worshipper of the Duan clan, the Duan clan would definitely be able to suspect him through the clues he exposed. Body. Unexpectedly, the Duan family hadn't discovered his identity, but the people outside discovered it first. Wanshang Building. As for Wanshang Building, when Duan Lingtian returned with Duan Weiyang, the chief elder of the law enforcement hall, he also learned a lot from Duan Weiyang. He knew that it was a force with a profound background and an amazing intelligence network. According to what Duan Weiyang said, it must be Wan Shenglu who saw his value, so he wanted to dig a wall. Therefore, Lu Yan, the deputy owner of Wanshang Building, appeared in front of him. It should be the Wanshang Building. Although Duan Lingtian doesn't care about his identity being exposed, the behavior of Wan Shenglu still angered him to a certain extent. After all, he has no grievances with Wan Shenglu. It is obvious that Wan Shenglu has spread the news like this, just targeting him. Thinking of this, Duan Lingtian couldn't help but flash a cold light in his eyes. Wanshang Building. Duan Lingtian took this account down. It's really you, brother Lingtian. Seeing Duan Lingtian admit that, although Duan Tianhong was not too surprised, he couldn't help but sigh, and at the same time comforted. Brother Lingtian, don't worry, you are now a big worship of our Duan clan, and our Duan clan wants to make you represent our Duan clan to win benefits in a return trip to Bibo, Tianfu 10 years later, and it is absolutely impossible for our Duan clan to target you. Of course, even if you stay in the Duan clan afterwards, the Duan clan will not target you. This is not only my guarantee to you, but also the Patriarch's guarantee to you. Before I came here this time, I have met the Patriarch, and he asked me to tell you. As long as you are a member of the Duan clan, and as long as you don't take the initiative to provoke the sage forces like Bibo, Tianfu, the Duan clan will protect you. Speaking of which, Duan Tianhong's face became straight, and he said very seriously. Duan Lingtian heard the words. Even if he had guessed that the Duan clan would not target him, he couldn't help but feel warm in his heart. After chatting with Duan Lingtian for a while, Duan Tianhong decided to leave. If there is nothing else, I will not disturb you, brother Lingtian. Next, I will take a break and stay in the family for a while. If brother Lingtian has anything to do, as long as I help you, if you are busy, come to me anytime. I live in the law enforcement hall area. When brother Lingtian arrives there, you can find out where I practice by asking someone directly. Duan Tianhong's voice fell, and he said goodbye and left. After seeing Duan Tianhong leave, Duan Lingtian returned to the floating hut at the eye of Lingquan Spring. His eyes narrowed slightly. There are still 10 years. In these 10 years, let's further understand and improve the swordsmanship. Compared to the slow progress of kendo, the space law has no progress. It's like entering a bottleneck period. This bottleneck is not broken, and it is completely delusional to want to sprint to the realm of great perfection, although the bottleneck will be broken sooner or later. However, the current Duan Lingtian is not in a hurry to break it. 10 years later, it will be the day when Bibo Tianfu will open the land of return to the ruins. At that time, he will represent the Duan clan to enter the land of return to the ruins and demand the treasures they need for Bibo Tianfu. Entering the land of return to the ruins, it is entirely based on strength to speak. Although his strength is good now, but as far as he knows, there is an existence that is not weaker than him in Bibo, Tianfu, to enter the place of return to the ruins. Even there may be an invincible upper to enter the return to the market together. Of course, according to Duan Tianhong's words in Bibo Tianfu, there is no invincible upper on the bright side. However, the sage of Bibo Tianfu is very likely to have an invincible superior to serve him. Of course, that invincible high-ranking god, Venerable, may not have comprehended the swordsmanship above the 4th rank. However, there is a connection between the invincible superior gods, and the other party may not be able to invite another invincible superior who is good at kendo to enter on behalf of Bibo Tianfu. Moreover, given the status and network of the saint of Bibo Tianfu in Lei Xingjing, it is not impossible to really want to seek an invincible high-ranking who is good at the 4th order swordsmanship for Bibo Tianfu. Thinking of the possibility of encountering the invincible superior in that place of return to the ruins, Duan Lingtian couldn't help but feel a lot of pressure in his heart. The invincible superior god. Now, he is far from an adversary, even if he is very close to the invincible upper god. However, if you cannot become an invincible superior in one day, you are not an invincible superior after all. Duan Lingtian retreated and cultivated, ignoring things outside the window, only showing up occasionally when the Duan clan was giving out salaries to the worshippers, and never left the Duan clan for half a step. With the passage of time, not only the Tourmaline holy city, but also the Duan family, few people mentioned him. And those who originally spied on the treasures in Duan Lingshan's hands saw that Duan Lingtian would not leave the Duan clan, no longer appear in the Tourmaline holy city, and they all retreated one after another. These people are all lucky and powerful. Among them, it also includes the 2 supreme powers from the Pingxiong realm that Duan Lingtian has encountered. Lu Yifan of Shanjin Pavilion, Lin Yu of the Lin family. Forget it, let's go back. There is a high probability that this matter is over. Even if we continue to wait, it will be useless. Lin Yu sighed and said, Now he has the protection of the Duan family. It is very difficult for us to succeed. Even if we can really find an opportunity to target him, put him on the line between life and death and threaten him, he may not really be honest. Call those treasures out. As long as he delays a little, 9 out of 10, the semi-sacred powerhouses of the Duan clan will arrive. At that time, even if we don't get the things, we can only escape. In fact, Lin Yu wanted to leave as soon as he learned that the other party had entered the Duan family in the Tourmaline holy city and became a big worshipper of the Duan family. However, Lu Yifan was not reconciled, so he stayed with Lu Yifan. A year later, he couldn't take it anymore and decided to leave. It's pointless to keep waiting. Although Lu Yifan was still unwilling, seeing that Lin Yu had made up his mind, he could only follow. Lin Yu left, and it would be meaningless for him to stay. Even if he succeeded without Lin Yu, he would not be able to perform the secret method of escape in time and space. If the half-sage makes a move under such circumstances, he will surely die. At this moment, the 2 people who were about to leave the Thunder Saint realm and return to the Pingxiong realm, but it was impossible for them to dream. The target they wanted to find had already met them before they came to the Tourmaline holy city, and was even protected by another Xian under their noses. Time flies. In the blink of an eye, another 9 years passed. At this time, it was also the 10th year that Duan Lingtian came to the Duan clan. On this day, Duan Lingtian was still comprehending the way of swordsmanship. Suddenly, a voice came from outside, and it was a voice he was familiar with. Brother Lingtian, someone from Bibo Tianfu has come, and now they live in our Duan clan. 3 days later, we will set off with them to the place of return to the ruins. The voice belongs to Duan Tianhong. Duan Tianhong, the law enforcement elder, was originally not arranged by the Duan clan to accompany him. However, considering that since Duan Lingtian came to the Duan clan, he has been involved in cultivation and has not been in contact with other people, only familiar with Duan Tianhong. So he asked Duan Tianhong to accompany Duan Lingtian as a companion. End of this chapter. Chapter 4500. Chapter 4500 Duan Yue. Besides, one more thing. Duan Tianhong continued. Old ancestor left the customs yesterday. After learning of your existence, Brother Ling Tian, he wanted to see you. In addition, the patriarch also told old ancestor that if you have something to ask him for help, old ancestor said, when you meet him, you can tell him what to do to help him. In the past 10 years, Duan Lingtian has approached Duan Bing, the patriarch of the Duan clan, more than once, explaining that he wants to see the half-sage ancestor of the Duan clan and wants him to do him a favor. As for how to help, he also told Duan Bing. According to Duan Bing, this matter is a bit tricky. It is not that the ancestors of the Duan clan are unwilling to help, but that the soul is imprisoned by the Soul clan. Once the power of the soul of the strongest is involved, their ancestors can't really help. However, he still assured Duan Lingtian that their ancestors of the Duan clan would still be willing to go with Duan Lingtian once they leave the customs. Perhaps before you set off, you will have time to go to your hometown with your ancestors. Duan Tianhong laughed, and Duan Lingtian, after hearing Duan Tianhong's words, his eyes suddenly lit up. Elder Tianhong, please take me to see the ancestor. Originally, he had temporarily put this matter aside. I even thought that after the trip to return to the ruins in Bibo Tianfu, I would enter Bibo Tianfu and seek help from the sages of Bibo Tianfu. A saint's shot is more reliable than a half-sage's shot. Unexpectedly, before leaving for the return to the ruins of the Bibo Tianfu, the ancestors of the Duan clan left the customs, although there are only 3 days left. However, it was enough for him to travel back and forth to the anti-god realm, because in Leishing realm there are teleportation formations that go to more than 20 realms, including the anti-god realm. Of course, you must first go to the transfer teleportation formations in the major realms to transfer, going back to the god-defying realm. Thinking of this, Duan Lingtian couldn't help but feel excited. In the past, when he left the anti-god realm, it could be said that he sneaked out. At that time, because he had a large number of divine springs in his hands, it was enough to attract the coveted of the most powerful. So he tried every means to leave the anti-god realm and pass through other realms, to the outer lands, accidentally teleported to the Tiansha realm, one of the outer areas of the outer lands. Then, walking all the way from Tiansha realm to the lay sacred realm of these 3 holy realms, it can be said that it is walking on thin ice, cautious, and even dare not reveal his identity. Now, when he thinks of going back to the god realm, he has a feeling of being separated from the world. I came to me the first time because I knew you were in a hurry. Duan Tianhong laughed. Although the young man in front of him has only been with the Duan family for 10 years, in the past 10 years, he and the other party have formed a deep friendship because of similar temperaments. Although he is the strongest, he does not dare to be big in front of the other party, because he knows that the potential of the other party is far greater than his. Perhaps now he is enough to easily overwhelm the opponent, but in the future, not necessarily. I have sent the message to the ancestor, and I will take you to see him. Duan Tianhong said again. Hearing this, Duan Lingshan's eyes that had already lit up became more and more bright, and then he followed Duan Tianhong to the place where the half-sage ancestor of the Duan family was cultivating. As the existence with the highest status in the Duan clan, the place where the semi-sage ancestor of the Duan clan is located is also a spiritual spring. Moreover, he was the only one in the entire Lingquan. Ancestor, the big offering is here. Duan Tianhong brought Duan Lingtian to the canyon, where the Lingquan, like a paradise, is located, stood in the sky, and saluted the floating hut above the canyon in front of him. A slightly lazy voice came from inside, and it was this voice that caused Duan Lingshan's pupils to shrink sharply, and the depths of his eyes were full of horror. This half-sage ancestor of the Duan family turned out to be a strong female, and just as Duan Lingtian was horrified, the door of the floating hut in front opened, and a graceful figure appeared in front of Duan Lingtian at the right time. This is a woman wearing a light cyan dress. She looks to be in her 20s at most. The most important thing is that she was lazy at this time, as if she was not interested in anything. However, Duan Lingtian only glanced at her pair of agile eyes, and he had a feeling of seeing the endless abyss, as if there was no end, like a bottomless abyss. Duan Lingtian, I have seen my ancestor. Although the person in front of him seemed to be about the same age as himself, Duan Lingtian knew that under this young face, there was a long period of precipitation. After all, this one is the most senior figure in the Duan clan. Full 10 living fossils. You are the worship of our Duan clan, so you don't need to call me old ancestor like them. The woman smiled lightly and looked at Duan Lingshan's eyes, which suddenly became deeper. At this moment, Duan Lingtian also had a feeling of being invisible. It's amazing. The next moment, the woman's pupils contracted violently, imperceptibly. As soon as she said these words, she looked at Duan Tianhong and said lightly, I have something to say to the big offering, so please step back. Yes, old man. When Duan Tianhong heard the words, he hurriedly stepped back respectfully, and at the same time reminded Duan Lingtian through a voice transmission, Brother Lingtian, what our ancestor was good at was one of the 4 supreme laws of life, and he also mastered the control of one of the 4 laws of heaven and earth. Road. After reminding Duan Lingtian, he disappeared in front of Duan Lingtian and the ancestors of the Duan clan. For a time, within the huge canyon, only Duan Lingtian and the ancestors of the Duan clan were left. My name is Duan Yue. You little guy, you don't need to call me ancestors like them in the future. Just call me Sister Wei. After Duan Tianhong withdrew, Duan Yue stared at Duan Lingtian with interest, and at the same time took a few steps forward, in front of Duan Lingtian, her slender hand stretched out, hooked Duan Lingshan's chin, and looked at Duan Lingtian. As for Duan Lingtian, in the process, although he wanted to dodge, he found that an invisible force seemed to imprison him in place, making him unable to move at all. For a time, while being shocked by the opponent's strength, Duan Lingtian felt bitter in his heart. Why does this ancestor of the Duan clan feel abnormal? What is she trying to do? It's amazing. Just when Duan Lingtian was inexplicable, Duan Yue spoke again. With such strength, it is less than 3,000 years old. Looking beyond the world, and even the history of the world, I have never heard of anyone at your age, with your strength. And Duan Lingtian, after hearing Duan Yue's words, his face changed drastically. He never imagined that Duan Yue, the ancestor of the Duan clan, could see that he was less than 3,000 years old just by looking at him. You must know that in the past, although there were people of similar age who could see his age, they could only see that he was not long live. And now this paragraph of Yue actually saw that he was less than 3,000 years old. You know, this is not a good thing. As long as the other party has a bit of bad intentions, he will definitely die. Don't be nervous. I have no ill will towards you. I really want to be malicious to you. Do you think you can still stand here well now? And Duan Yue, at this time, seemed to see Duan Lingshan's current nervousness from Duan Lingshan's eyes, smiled lightly, and then stood up, and at the same time removed the invisible force that enveloped Duan Lingtian. At this moment, Duan Lingtian regained his freedom, and quickly took a few steps back, looking vigilantly at the teasing ancestor of the Duan clan in front of him. Taking a deep breath, Duan Lingtian said, Ancestor. As soon as he opened his mouth, he was interrupted by Duan Yue frowning. I said, You can just call me Sister Wei. From today, I will call you Xiaotian. You can go to the Duan clan. It means that you have a relationship with the Duan clan, and it has something to do with me. From now on, you and I will be sisters and brothers. End of this chapter. Chapter 4501. Chapter 4501 returned to the hometown against the gods as the ancestor of the Duan clan. The semi-saint Duan Yue naturally cannot be that kind of mindless and kind person. Now, she is polite to Duan Lingtian, and even bluntly said that she wants to be commensurate with Duan Lingshan's sister and brother, because she sees through Duan Lingshan's age of less than 3,000 years old. Ordinary semi-sacred naturally do not have this method. But the problem is, she is a semi-sacred powerhouse who is good at the law of life. The law of life, it is only one step away, the kind that can step into the realm of great perfection. At less than 3,000 years old, he has the strength close to the invincible, superior God. Duan Yue has never even heard of such a monster. At least, in the place beyond the world that she knew, and even in the history of the world, there has never been such a person against the sky. And now, such a person is standing in front of his eyes. Most importantly, it hasn't really grown up yet. In her opinion, isn't this a chance to befriend the future powerhouse ahead of time? Maybe, not long after, there will be a strong Jiezun realm calling him Sister Wei, and at that time, their Duan clan will no longer need to be attached to Bibo, Tianfu. Even those who are in the realm of the world today, there is no one who can achieve his achievements at his age. Maybe his future achievements can surpass those of the world's most powerful people. Duan Yue said secretly. Because of this, she did not treat the young man in front of her as a junior ancestor. Facing Duan Yue's friendliness, Duan Lingtian was a little flattered, but also a little restless. However, as soon as he opened his mouth, he was interrupted by Duan Yue before he could continue talking, only to see Duan Yue frowning and saying unhappily, "I said it all. You and I are good siblings." Could it be? Do you think that Duan Yue is not qualified to be your sister? Speaking of this, Duan Yue's eyes on Duan Lingtian changed, and she became a little teasing. "I heard that you have something to ask me for help." "If you and I have a brother and sister relationship, about your brother, I will be my sister. Yes, of course, it is my duty, and I must go all out to help." Hearing Duan Yue's words, Duan Lingtian was speechless for a while, and he could only call out Sister Wei. And when Duan Yue heard Duan Lingshan's Sister Wei, she immediately lifted it up and handed the 2 floating shadow beads to Duan Lingtian. "Since you called me Sister Wei, then I, the elder sister, will also give you a meeting gift. With your current strength, I can help you, and that's all." In these 2 floating shadow beads, there are respectively recorded mirror images of 2 invincible upper gods who are good at space laws. It should be of some help to you. Originally, Duan Lingtian was also guessing that this floating shadow bead should be the floating shadow bead that recorded the powerful shot. But when he heard Duan Yue's words, he was shocked again. Another 2 floating shadow beads that recorded the shots of the invincible upper gods who were good at space laws. The next moment, Duan Lingtian, who came back to his senses, involuntarily showed a look of surprise on his face, although he already had such a floating shadow bead in his hand. Who would dislike too much of this kind of thing? Although they are all invincible superior gods who comprehend the laws of space to the realm of great perfection. The direction of each person's comprehension is completely different. He got these floating shadow beads, and he can find different inspirations from them. Thank you, Miss Wei. If Duan Lingtian was forced to be helpless in the previous sister, now this sister, Duan Lingtian came from the heart. The person in front of him, he is not difficult to guess the reason for his enthusiasm for him. It is nothing more than seeing his potential and wanting to befriend him in advance. This is tantamount to an investment. He is not disgusted by this. After all, the other party's investment is also risky. Who can guarantee that Duan Lingtian will be able to stand outside the realm in the future, or even the peak of the world? The reason why I say this is also because the only strong people who can help Duan Yue are those who stand outside the realm, or even the realm powerhouses at the peak of the world. Okay, now let's go to your hometown. Duan Yue said, "No more unnecessary nonsense." When Duan Lingtian heard the words, his eyes suddenly lit up. After all, This was his biggest purpose, to find the person in front of him. He wanted to bring the other party back to his hometown against God realm to seek here, and see if the other party had the means to wake him up. Let's talk about it first. I don't have much confidence. Duan Yue continued, regarding the ins and outs of the matter. She had heard Duan Bing, the patriarch of the Duan clan, and knew what she was going to do on this trip, so she reminded Duan Lingtian before leaving. However, although I don't have much confidence, but with my strength I can delay the erosion of her soul, I still have a certain degree of confidence. Duan Yue added. Duan Lingtian was stunned for a moment, and then showed a happy expression. It can also delay the erosion of the soul. Duan Lingtian did not expect this unexpected joy. In this way, it is not in vain for him to enter the Duan clan and seek the help of this person. Let's go. Follow me to the Thunder Saint realm, to the teleportation formation that leads to your hometown, the anti-god realm. Duan Yue greeted Duan Lingtian, then lifted it up without reminding Duan Lingtian, took Duan Lingtian directly, and left the Duan clan at a ridiculously fast speed. How outrageous! Although Duan Lingtian was completely awake, but now Duan Yue was leading him on the road. His eyes were so vast that he couldn't see anything clearly. This shows how fast Duan Yue is, as expected of a semi-sacred powerhouse. Duan Lingtian was shocked. Duan Yue can be said to be the first semi-sacred powerhouse he has ever come into contact with. Even if it was Kumu, a powerhouse with the same level of strength as the Cold King in the past, he knew that Kumu's father was a semi-sacred powerhouse. But after all, he did not. Meet Deadwood's father. Half-holy powerhouses. In Verse God Realm, it seems that there are also. After coming to the land beyond the realm, Duan Lingtian is no longer the stunned young man he used to know nothing about. He knows that in the 10,000 realms, in addition to the upper 3 realms, there are more than one realm powerhouse and the middle 18 realms below. Most of them have a strong Jiezun in charge. Even if there is no Jiezun strong, there are many powerful half-step Jiezun in charge. A half-step world honor is a half-sage. Moreover, he also heard in the land outside the realm that the realm of the gods is the most powerful realm in the 18th realm, and there is a powerful realm of the realm. Thinking of this, Duan Lingtian couldn't help but think that when he had gone through hardships in the past, passed the many tests, and obtained the Shen Quan, the existence that was honored as adult by a supreme power, another supreme power. I don't know, that one, what level of superpower? Half-step Jesuin? Or an existence that is close to the half-step Jiezun? End of this chapter. You're tuning in to the Thunder Spear YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.